again. But it's the only way you're ever gonna learn. You look back and it's all in the past. I'm dwelling on the...
Good afternoon and welcome to NUFC Matters. It is match day live. Newcastle United are away at Craven Cottage to play Fulham in the final game of the season. And as always, I'm joined by a panel of Newcastle United fans to talk you through it. And it's been a roller coaster season, but we managed to stay up by the skin of our teeth. And today is quite a relaxing day. And in fact, in the Premier League, there's probably only the people chasing that elusive Champions League place who've got anything to be concerned about. And let's face it, they're going to be in Europe anyway. So what's to complain about? It's a fairly relatively stress-free day. Just wish we were all down there. But it's a big welcome to Holly, to Annika Rice, aka Chris, whose birthday it is today. So I'm sure everybody in the chat will wish him happy birthday. To Daz from Loaded, and to Charlie and Pete. Nathan makes a welcome return, and Kieran, who is in a different location today. It looks a bit like Fred West's old stomping ground, but it's lighter. It is lighter, so there is certainly light at the end of the tunnel at Kieran's that day. But we're going to talk through the game. There will be other appearances. I know Chris Hall is going to make an appearance at some point today as well. Before we start, I do want to send our best wishes and get well soon to Spenny, who's a big part of the NUFC Matters family. Had an unfortunate health issue this week, which found him in hospital, and he's going to be laid up for a little bit of time. So sending our love and best wishes and thoughts to Spenny. Get well soon, mate, and let's hope Newcastle United can get 3 points to make you feel a little bit better after what's been a bit of a week for you, mate. So sending our thoughts to you. And also, as I touched upon with Ben Jacobs, thoughts go to Lisa Shaw's family. Somebody who I did a little bit of work with in the Northeast. She was very kind enough to promote my books on Radio Newcastle. Passed away this week, 44-year-old, no age at all. Those of you who listen to Radio Newcastle on a regular basis, and maybe listen to the breakfast show on another radio station up here with Tony Horn, will be shocked to hear that news. So yeah, thoughts with the family. We'll dedicate this show to Lisa today. So let's look at the teams. Newcastle United's final lineup of the season is like this: Martin Dubravka, Jacob Murphy, Emil Kraft, Federico Fernandez, Paul Dummett, Matt Ritchie, John Joe Shelby in there, captaining the team again. Sean Longstaff makes a return. Joe Willock, Miguel Almiron, and Alan St. Maximin on the bench. No place for Darlow, as Gillespie is the reserve keeper. Clark, Matty Longstaff made the squad. Shaw, back from his suspension. Carroll, Gale, Lewis, Hendrick, and Manquillo. That is your final Newcastle United lineup of this season. And Fulham, they line up like this: Rodak, Tete, Ream, Cordova Reed, Adarabayo, Cavallero, Lookman, Bryan, Onamo, Anguissa, and Carvalho. On the bench for them: Orialo, Hector, Aina, Francois Lamina, Loftus-Cheek, Jasper, and Maja. No place, of course, today for Mitrovic. So there we go. That is the lineups, and we'll go to Holly first, who I've got to say has done a cracking job of presenting the last couple of match day lives. So well done again, Holly. But yes, give us your views on Newcastle United's lineup today.
Well, I was a bit shocked to see that we don't actually have a proper striker in the lineup. That's a bit odd. I know that obviously against Sheffield United, Joe Linton went off, and we know that Callum Wilson's out, so we're only left with Dwight, Gale and Carroll, who aren't the best, let's face it. But I would maybe have liked to see Carroll start. I'm not going to lie. Someone that is actually a striker on the pitch probably would be helpful. Maybe if they come on later on in the game, then fair enough. But it looks like we're playing a 4-4-2, I think, with St. Maximin and Almiron up top, which that's a bit worrying, I guess you could say. But St. Maximin, I think you'll have a lot of fun with Fulham's defence, to be honest. Murphy, I'm happy to see him starting. The only changes I'd probably make was I probably would have started Carroll, and of course I wouldn't have started Shelby, but that's just the same thing we've said all season. It's getting boring now. Yeah, bit confused by this lineup, but I still think it's strong enough to get a result against Fulham.
Yeah, and Fulham's team, as I say, made up of probably a lot of young lads and people who are looking to maybe carve a place in the opening lineup for next season. And of course, no place for Mitrovic, which is disappointing, I guess, for us. Would like to see Mitrovic playing. It's always good to see your next player do badly against Newcastle, because he's not one to play against. He doesn't tend to do well against Newcastle. It has to be said, Holly.
Yeah, he certainly doesn't. As like when we first saw them and started playing Fulham, I always used to worry a bit because I was like, oh, he's going to get a bit of revenge, but it never happened. So a bit disappointed not to see him, because it's always nice to kind of have a laugh that they're going down and we've stayed up. But yeah, a bit unfortunate, but I still think it should be a good game, hopefully.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Okay, Chris, we'll come to you. Happy birthday, mate. How old are you today?
42.
42. So. You don't look a day over 41, Chris. and the lineup we've got today. What was your take on that? You're not far from the ground, are you, today?
No, I'm a couple stones throws from the ground. Couldn't get in with all the protocols on advance tickets. But yeah, I mean, it's the same as Holly. We don't have a striker in there, so it's a bit boring. I would have given Carroll a start. I would have put some of the youngsters on the bench. We pretty much have the same lineup that we did before any of the other matches. So it's this is the end of the season, but it's sort of expected from Bruce, but you would expect better to change up the lineup a bit. Hopefully, we just get some goals and close out the season on high. Yeah, so it's good to see Shar back. I don't know where the goals are going to come from today. Same complaint with Shelby. Hopefully, this is Shelby's last match in a Newcastle uniform, but I'm not very optimistic about that. I'll probably be back next season. Same captain, vice captain as this season. Not too bothered about Fulham's lineup without Mitrovic in there. This should be, this is a game that we should have well in hand, and hopefully we close up the season on a high and go on to the off season of unknowns and all that crazy stuff that goes on off field. Deal with all that as it comes summer.
Did you get any nice presents, Chris?
Yeah, I'm very loved and in a good position. So yeah, it's
socks.
Yeah, I won't disclose any gifts. I have gotten socks before, not this year, but yeah, I'm now that I'm fully vaccinated, I'm probably going to travel a bit once the week is up. So we'll have Annika rice on the continent, across the continent.
Fully vaccinated and ready for action, I guess, and hopefully not dressed like this tonight.
Well, it's class. Thank you so much, Daz, for that. That's going
No
to
problem,
go up on
Chris.
my wall.
I'm liking the mobile, Chris. It's very you.
Yes, I always have my phone in my hand. Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff. Okay, mate. Have a good day. Looking forward to hearing from you as we progress. Daz, it's a meaningless game for Newcastle, other than you want to go out on a high, I suppose, and try and finish as high as you can so Mike Ashley gets some more money.
Yeah, it is meaningless, Steve. Actually, it'd be interesting to see after the game if there's any kind of comment or statement from Mike Ashley or the club, because I know they've come out with statements at the end of the season. So it'd be interesting to see if anything like that happens. Just on the team, great to see that Dubravka and ASM made it. No Joe Linton, of course, and no Anderson, not even on the bench. It would be nice to see him and give him a go in the meaningless game. We do have Matty Longstaff on the bench, and he's someone I would like to have seen started. You have the usual suspects and who we don't want there, the likes of Kraft and Shelby, but he's never going to change Shelby with him the makeshift captain. And Kraft, I think Kraft and Shar sometimes is a liability as well. So we might as well stick with what we have. And it looks 5-3-2. But yeah, it's I think we should be able to get something from today for me, especially with Fulham trying to blood a few youngsters as well. So yeah, I'm hoping for a decent watch anyway.
Do you think he's looked at Pep Guardiola's success at Man City and decided, yeah, not play with a striker, that's the way forward?
Yeah, does he look at anyone else? Does he listen to anyone else? He is his own man. He's doing things his own way, of course. So yeah, no, he's probably above Pep, to tell the truth, Steve. But
well, he is manager of the month, Daz.
Yeah, he is manager of the month, and he did deserve it, and we give him credit. Still don't want him next year, but we are going to be stuck with them, and we're going to be stuck with them until there's a takeover. So we might as well just get on with it and get it done, and just hopefully it's sooner rather than later.
Yep. Okay, mate. Good stuff. Nathan, welcome back, mate. I know you've had a few sessions, mate. I think you call them in Burnley, and I know you've been moving house and various other things. But it's good to have you back, mate. And you thought you were a bit of a jinx, actually.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think I sat through the majority of the games at the start of the season. Actually, though, to be honest, because that's where we picked up all our points, wasn't it? I think I sat through a lot of the lucky games where we picked up points from like Tottenham and Wolves where we had no right to. So maybe I should have come back a bit earlier for that 22 game run, whatever it was, of not winning. Maybe things would have been different. But yeah, we are where we are now. We're all good. What
do you make of the lineup today then?
Yeah, I think like everyone's covered it pretty much. What we're expecting to see from the team. I know that Daz mentioned Elliot Anderson from the start that I looked at. It said that he had a minor thigh injury or something. So I'm not sure if that is true or if that's why. You would have expected him to probably make the bench today, if not get some game time at all. I look at that bench. I just wonder why like Matty Longstaff's not getting a game. It's a nothing game for us. He's barely kicked a ball all season. Why not just put him in there and why not try him? I think the same can be said for why not take this opportunity to even look a bit further down the pecking order and into the youth team and see, especially like, as Holly said, if we're not playing a recognised striker, why not look a bit further down and give one of the young lads a chance, even put them on the bench, one of the forwards from the youth team, because you never know, do you? You never know what you're going to get. Some players can step up on the occasion, can't they? Sometimes. So it looks like we're going to have, from what I've read today, it looks like we're going to have a limited transfer budget this summer unless we sell one of our prized assets. So why not give that that crucial game time experience to one of the younger players? But I think as you touched upon there, the reason for that, as we know, is money, isn't it? And it's money. If we get another 200,000-300,000 for finishing a place higher, then that's what Mike Ashley wants, isn't it? So that's what he'll get. So I think that just speaks volumes of where we're at the minute in terms of Bruce not looking at the youth players. He doesn't seem interested. Does he? He'd rather play a Hendrick or a Shelby every week. So, but yeah, other than that, I think I would have put from the bench. I'd have put Matty Longstaff in there today just to give him a run out. But yeah, it looks like a decent team. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. Donald, welcome, mate.
Good afternoon, all. Afternoon, everybody on the chat as well, of course.
Yeah. Good to see you, mate. Your take on the lineup today, then, mate?
Yeah, it's obviously a strong lineup. Going for hopefully go for the jugular, go for 3 points. But just to reiterate Nathan's point, yeah, this is an ideal game to blood the youngsters, give them a run out, and surprised. And it's nice to see Matty Longstaff on the bench because he gets what it is to be a Newcastle United player and what playing for the Newcastle United shirt means. So yeah, hopefully, as I said, some sexy football we can look forward to and get 3 points.
Fingers crossed. Sexy football is not something I would associate with Steve Bruce, mind. It was not.
No.
It wasn't something I would associate with Ruud Gullit either. To be fair, apart from when he was playing, of course. But I know where you're coming from. Yeah, and it is the end of the season. Of the season.
Yeah. Let's go and have some fun at the end of the last game.
Yeah, 100%. Kieran, afternoon, mate. Dear God, that's what you look like. I always thought you were like 4 foot 2 and bald with a long nose.
You can see my beautiful face now.
That's it. Well, there you are. You're match day live. You're actually live. So, good to see you. What's your take? What's your positive take on that lineup today?
To be honest, I'm quite happy to see the Almiron and Sam Maximan up front because a lot of people quite surprised that Gale Gale wasn't starting, but I'm not, because he was shocking, wasn't he, when he came on last week?
Yeah.
So I mean, there's no surprise there. But I'm the five at the back thing. I'm not really a fan of. So I would have liked to have seen us. I would have liked to have seen us go and fought at the back, because we've got nothing to lose now. So I mean, just why not change it up for once? But he's gone with it, and hopefully it will pay off. I mean, their team's they've got a few sort of like some of the reserves out, really, aren't they? Like the goalkeeper and one of their midfielders. So I think we'll be favourites to win the game. But I think for them, they'll just be looking to like see what their reserve players are like, and if they can get them in their team for next season, because a lot of their players are on loan from other clubs. So yeah, I mean, I think we've got every chance there, definitely.
Yeah, okay. You don't have to stay on screen when you're having your dinner, you know. You look like you're having some kind of like medieval feast. Yeah, and you're on mute, so now we can't even hear you. Like, unmute yourself.
Yeah.
Are you having your Sunday dinner?
No, it's Indian style. You see, tarka dal with chapatis, isn't it?
Oh, right, okay. In it as well, Christ. Okay. I'll let you get on with your dinner, but you don't have to, like, as I say, it's just
sorry, I'll come
a bit
on.
odd. You're going backwards and forwards like that.
Yeah.
It's a bit odd. Charlie. Oh, Charlie's frozen. Charlie's got that frozen look, so we'll move on to Pete. Chris has joined us, so good afternoon, Chris. Pete, we'll come to you, mate. Give us your take on that lineup today.
It's kind of what we expect nowadays with Steve Bruce. We get a result, and he doesn't really change the team. I think, obviously, with the Joe Linton injury, it's kind of like a forced change, to be honest. But nice to see that Dubravka and ASM are fit. I personally didn't think they were going to play after Wednesday, but good to see them in the team. A few of the guys have touched on the point about changing players and giving players an opportunity. I just don't think that Bruce is thinking that. Every game for Bruce is critical in terms of the scrutiny that he gets from fans and the media, in particular the fans. And I think he doesn't want to take the risk. I think he wants to get a result today. I think hopefully it'll be his last game at the club. We'll wait to see. But with regards to the front line, I think that tells you everything about what's going to be happening in the summer with both Carroll and Gale. The fact that none of them are starting, we're starting without a striker, but yet got two on the bench, doesn't really make sense. And it tells me that both of them are going to be leaving the club in the summer, in my opinion. Matty Longstaff, we've argued that for the last, good 4 or 5 months that he should be playing. And it would not surprise me if he's the first out in the summer on loan somewhere. He's only got a year left on his contract now, so it's either now or never with regards to Matty Longstaff. He either goes on loan and gets some proper football, or we just sell him on. It's as simple as that, because his career has gone stale in the last year and a half. And for all the talk of him being a potential player could quite easily be ruined by the fact that he's not playing enough football at a young age. So, lots and lots of things that would be interesting. Fulham's team is pretty much the team that they see starting the Championship next season, bar one or two. He's taken out pretty much all of the loan players apart from Lookman. And he's basically looking at what is going on for next season. So that'll be interesting to see how they get on. But that team that we've got today, I fully expect to win.
Yeah, I would say so as well. For me, it's a good lineup. It's a strong lineup, and we should be really confident. I'd love to see Willock, get another goal today as well, just to equal Alan's record. We'll come to you next, Charlie. In case you have your internet issues again. What's your take on the lineup, mate?
First of all, Steve, cheers for having us back on the show, and happy birthday, Chris. I hope you're having a good one, mate. I hope the two can get 3 points for the day. The lineup, I think the big one is Almiron. I mean, I think he's been a little bit of a passenger since he's been played deeper in midfield. But today, it sort of gives him the chance to be the focal point of the team again. I remember when Graham Jones first came in, he was like playing sort of the false the sort of false nine role, and he was playing his best football this season. So I'm looking for a big performance from Almiron today. Can I just say as well, Steve, I'm wearing all red today, the Lincoln City colours. I don't know if anybody else was celebrating their result yesterday, but I've got a sore head off the game yesterday. I had a sore head to celebrate.
I was absolutely howling. I mean, everyone has seen the footage on Twitter of these Sunderland fans standing, giving the manager stick, and Charlie White had apparently come out and sworn at them. Believe it or not, on the ready-to-go message board, the Sunderland message board, they're blaming me. They're saying it looks like Steve Wraith and some Gateshead fans. Why on earth would I be down at the Stadium of Light giving their manager stick? I will be giving them a round of applause. I'll be telling them well done. I'll be shaking Charlie White's hand. 6 in a row. That's what it's all about. 6 seasons out of the Premier League. 6 in a row. Well done, lads. But yeah,
it's crazy. It's crazy how a club like Sunderland. It's crazy how a club like Sunderland. Next season will be their 4th year in League One. We've never ever been in the 3rd division in our 130-year history, and they're going to be the 4 years in a row. It's mental. But
well, in the words of Shaggy, it wasn't me.
Wasn't me.
It's what's ironic is they were saying, because Josh Madger, who's on the bench for Fulham today, he obviously used to play for Sunderland, and they've been saying all season, Josh Madger's going to send you down on the final day. Josh Madger's going to send you down the final day. Now we're sitting up on the deck chairs reading the newspaper, enjoying the last day of the season while they've got to spend another year in League One.
Telling you now, if the takeover hasn't gone through by the time the transfers start, be worth putting a cheeky bid in for Madger, bringing him to Newcastle and turning him into a Newcastle legend in that number 9 shirt, taking it off Joe Linton, giving it to him, leave Wilson in the 10 and have Madger and Wilson up front next season. The Mackhams will be foaming if he hit the ground running. Because with the creative midfielder players that we've got, if we can keep a hold of them and maybe make one more addition, somebody like Madger just might make the difference. You never know. But we can talk about that during the game. I'll get Chris's take on the team before we get your predictions, guys. And girl, there's your lineup, Chris.
Yeah, there's no real surprises. I must admit I was a little bit pissed off when I saw the team because I've been preparing me fantasy footy for the last few days and I've been sweating over it. And obviously I heard from Bruce's mouth that Dubravka was a doubt and Saint was a doubt. So I thought, I best get Dubravka and Saint out my team. And then when I saw the lineup, I just thought, oh God. And with Saint playing up top as well, so I'm really disappointed from a personal point of view. But in terms of trying to get a result today, he's put the best lineup out, hasn't he? And it's nice to see Shah on the bench again. I hope Carroll comes on again and gets some minutes. I think it's pretty pointless having Hendrick on the bench, if I'm honest, because I'd be absolutely mortified if he got on the pitch. Matty Longstaff deserves to be on, and I hope he does bring him on. I think, as one of the lads has just said there, the idea really should be to get him out on loan next season, because this season has just been a joke for Matty Longstaff, and I feel really sorry for him. It's nice to see Sean Longstaff continuing in the middle. I'm not surprised by that. Joe Willock, obviously, hopefully it's not his last game, but it looks like it could be. And I'd love to see him get on the score sheet today. The defense looks pretty sound as normal. So, yeah, I think, as Charlie's just said, though, we've got to be mindful of Miggy, because this formation that we play doesn't really suit Miggy. So, again, I'm going to be watching him, and hopefully he has a good game today. But in terms of getting the result today, it's nice that we don't need a result, so it is nice to kind of watch the game and enjoy it. Shame that Mitrovic isn't playing. I would have liked to see Mitro, but yeah, I'm still a little bit on the fence over the results, because I said at the start I didn't want this match to mean anything. It doesn't, which is a really good thing. But I'm not that confident, I've got to be honest, even though we have put out a pretty strong lineup. Just to touch on next season very briefly before we go to the predictions, I just wanted to say, I know we spoke, didn't we, Steve, about Josh Madger, and I think he would be someone who would be, a very good signing for anybody, but certainly, for us, and it would be quite a sting in the tail as well if we were to get him. But I just wanted to add as well, Bobby Reid. Yeah. Bobby Reid, yeah.
He's crap.
I constantly see us linked with him, and I just do not see why. I'm going to watch it today. Maybe I'm wrong, But was he at Cardiff before
Yeah,
Fulham?
it was Bristol City as well.
Chris,
When
he's
he's there.
a championship player, Chris.
Yeah,
He's a
exactly,
championship player.
exactly. I'd love
He's
to
not
see
a
what the
Premier League
hype
player.
is
But
because
this is the thing, Chris. We're going to be. This is the kind of market we'll be shopping in. It's going to be cheap shit championship players.
Yeah.
And they're talking about Sam Maximin getting sold for 70 million as well.
I'm hearing today in the Daily Mail that we've only got 12 million to spend. But
Yeah,
an interesting little side note for the game today is I think we can finish as low as 17th and as high as 11th. Is it 11th? And there's an 8 million.
12.
There's an 8 million prize reward difference between 17th and 12th. So whether Mike actually sticks it in the kitty or not, that's another thing.
Well, he's there today.
Is he? He's in London, isn't it? It's only on the corner from us.
He's at the game space. That'd be interesting.
Quick predictions from everybody then. Holly, you first.
I was unloaded earlier and I said 5-1, but after that Sheffield United game, I'm going to be slightly more humble and I'll go for 4-1.
4-1 to Newcastle from Holly. Daz. Oh no, there's Chris. He's doing what on earth is he doing? Annika Rice, come in, Annika. Annika, where are you? Stop the clock. Daz will come to you.
I'm going to go 2-0 Newcastle.
2-0 Newcastle. Nath?
I fancy a 3-1 today. I fancy some goals in this one.
He's gone for a penman. Okay, Charlie Bennett?
I think 2-0, mate. I'm going to go with Daz.
2-0. Okay, Chris?
Sorry, boys. I'm going to say 2-0 Fulham.
Ooh.
I just don't. I don't know what it is. I just don't expect the players. As Charlie said, I think the players got the flip flops on. I just don't expect a performance, and I think they think the hard work's done. So I'm going to say Fulham. I want Newcastle to win. Don't get me wrong, but no, I think Fulham will win.
Controversial. Donald, don't burp. You've just finished.
No. I've done it. No. I've finished it a few minutes ago. I'm good now. Yeah, my prediction. I think 3-1. I'm going to go 3-1.
3-1. Okay, another 3-1. Kieran, the man of optimism.
I'm still going to say 2-2. I can understand what Chris is coming from. Like, it's got flip flops written all over it, like, isn't it?
Yeah, he's going for the Desmond. And what about you, Pete?
I think we'll win 1-0. I just don't see a lot of hope in this game, to be honest. But I think more hope than anything that Willock pops up again with another goal.
Okay, I'm going to go for a draw as well. I'm going to go 1-1. I can't see there being a great deal of action in this one, but get ready for the game to kick off. Newcastle in that horrendous away top. It's just awful. It's not my favourite anyway, certainly not. Fulham obviously in their traditional black and white. Newcastle in that snazzy purple number with the yellow markings on. As the camera focuses on Joe Willock, who's chewing some blue chewing gum and picking his nose and wiping it on his top. Probably the best thing you can do with that top, to be perfectly honest, buddy lad.
Carpet, isn't it?
It is. It's absolutely awful. It really is. Just as they get ready to take the knee and then kick off, sent this video, and this is Jurgen Klopp outside Anfield. Oh mate, that was brilliant. I really thought that was funny. There's a few videos kicking about today of Jurgen Klopp doing the walk around on the streets outside Anfield because fans, of course, are back for the first time. And you know what? You sometimes don't like managers from other teams. I really do like Jurgen Klopp. He's a man of the people, certainly. He's in the same mould as the likes of Keegan for Newcastle, and he gets it. He gets it, and he's actually going to have a drink at people's doors. He was going to people's houses and standing chatting with people and etc. That's what it should be about. That kind of connection. We gave Leicester plenty praise last week. Well done, Jurgen Klopp, for that, and thanks to me mates from Liverpool who sent us that up today. I mean, let's look at potential links with players and players leaving, Holly, and we've touched on it early doors there. Charlie's just mentioned it. Daily Mail. This is going to be. We're going to have a whole host of these kind of stories, but. ASM, £70 million has been mentioned in the papers this morning. Does that worry you, ASM leaving?
Massively. I think you saw against Sheffield United how much the team relies on Alan Saint-Maximin. Like every time they had the ball, they were looking for Saint-Maximin and passing it straight away to him. And to be honest, I think that made us realise why he gets injured so much, because literally they're relying on him so heavily. Like, it's just not fair on him, to be honest. And he's the only player in that side that offers us something different and a bit of creativity. And I think that if nothing changes in the summer, he will probably go. If we get 70 million, I think Mike Ashley will cash in straight away. If he doesn't go in the summer and the takeover still hasn't happened in the new season, I think that he'll be definitely gone in January 100%. I really can't see him sticking around. We heard his TalkSport interview where he wasn't sounding very positive at all. He replied to a fan on Twitter saying that, I felt like it's best to be honest about these things because I respect and love Newcastle fans, and that's fair enough to him, and I'd wish him all the best, but it would be a massive blow for us to lose St. Maximin, because, my God, I dread to think what we'd look like without him, and the attack would be in tatters, to be honest. Yes, we'd still have Wilson who can score the goals, but in terms of putting in the assists and doing the hard work and the creativity that St. Maximin does, we'd have no one there.
Yeah, okay. Same question to you, Chris, just about ASM. Do you worry about losing ASM in the summer?
My heart says no. My head says yes. I think that Mike Ashley wants to retain assets that make his club worth 300 million. And certainly St. Maximin is one of those. So I don't see him being sold for less than 70 million. But so I turn you that next season.
Okay, I think your sounds might be your sound, Chris, a little bit dodgy there on your microphone, mate. So just watch your mic, mate, when you're moving around. But yeah, I got the point there. Daz, ASM, do you think he'll stay or do you think he'll go?
I think he'll stay until at least January. I think he like us is waiting on the takeover. We did talk about the last game and we said what value you'd put on him when no one wants him to sell him. But I think we're saying towards 60, 70. I was heading towards the 70. Myself, if Pepe is from Nicholas Pepe from Arsenal is worth 72 million they paid for him. So yeah, he's definitely up there in that price range. I know Roma and Jose might have been looking at him as well there at least a week ago. Probably more clubs as well. But no, if we don't want to lose him, I don't see him going in the summer. I think he'll hang on to see what happens.
Yeah, somebody's got that commentary coming through. I can hear it. So if you just all want to go on mute while you're not talking, guys. I'm not sure who it is. I don't think it's Kieran or Chris, so it must be one of the other guys. Okay, Nate, over to you, mate. ASM, I mean, £70 million. Toon 2020 in the chat says, if that bid comes in, Ashley's going to take it.
Yeah, I think my concern is, though, we're talking about sort of 70 million. My concern with Ashley is, as we've seen before, if we got an offer of 40, 50 million, I could see Ashley taking it. If it was a 50 million up front, something like that, like paid in full and not in installments, I could see Ashley taking it. And that's the real concern for me. And that would be obviously a steal for someone to get him at that price. But, with Ashley, you can never bank on what he's going to do, can you? And money talks to him, doesn't it? So if he sees that as an opportunity, then I can well see him cashing in and us maybe getting sort of, I think, whatever we did sell him for, it's not going to go back into the squad, is it? If we did get 70 million for him, what would we get from that? What would be realistic? We'd probably get like 20 million maybe. And at that point as well, it would probably be somebody that was, not of the ilk. Obviously, you don't get players like the amount of money that we paid for St. Maximin. It was an absolute bargain, wasn't it? And you don't get that type of player for 20 million. So that'd be my big concern. I think we do need a central midfielder, don't we? I think that's been abundantly clear this season. The options we've got in there just aren't good enough, and the Longstaff brothers have regressed. Yes, through not playing and through lack of game time, but I haven't seen them kick on at all in the chances that in the games that they have played. But yeah, that'd be my big concern. But I do appreciate the honesty with St. Maximin, like when he did the interview to TalkSport, as Holly said, because we've seen it before where people like sort of Cabaye and Debuchy, they courted these moves away to France and to Arsenal, didn't they? And they thrived on that sort of speculation. But I do appreciate the honesty. I think St. Maximin's got a respect for our fan base and respect for the region.
Okay, there's a question and a half, Charlie, for you. You started this. Would you sell ASM if it meant signing Willock on a permanent deal?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't, mate. Steve Maximin's our guy, isn't he? He's our best player. I do think the sort of state that the club's in right now under Mike Ashley, I think he'll stay this summer, but I think we've only got another year out of him. I think his TalkSport interview the other day he was saying, I'm 24 years old. Newcastle shouldn't be sitting 17th in the Premier League. You can see that he's a player that's got ambition, And it's sort of similar to what Harry Kane's been saying at Tottenham, but not as extreme, if you get it. So, I think if the takeover happens, you can build a team around, say, Maximin, bringing loads of players on his level. But as it stands, he's almost like a big fish in a little pond at the minute, isn't he?
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about it. Andy Holtby says he's not worth 70 million, 6 goals, 8 assists in 2 seasons, 25 to 30 million pound at the most. But it's not Charlie saying it, it's the newspapers, of course, which we're going to get plenty of, so get used to it. Chris, ASM, would you sell him or would you like to keep him?
Oh, well, I'd love to keep him. I think he's our jewel in the crown. He's the one that makes us tick. He gets us further up the pitch. He takes the pressure off, and he creates things out of nothing. I mean, we saw that against Burnley, didn't we? We're 1-0 down, going into the 60th minute, nothing happening, and then St. Maximin and Callum Wilson come on, and St. Maximin just turns the game on his own. So I think St. Maximin's importance to us, it can't be underestimated. In terms of the question earlier about whether I'd swap him whether I'd get rid of him to bring in Willock, absolutely not. I've been a big fan of Willock, certainly the last 4 to 5 games. I was one of those fans when I was a little bit on the fence over him. I actually thought he'd be playing like in a right wing position, but in this central midfield role, he has been fantastic. And credit where credit's due. He's 21 years old. I'm sure he's only going to improve. So I'd certainly like Willock, but I wouldn't sacrifice St. Maximin in order to get him. In terms of the price tag as well, I know someone's just said then they wouldn't pay 25-30 million for him. If you actually look, for me, I think he is worth 70 million. I think I said it on Load of Mag the other day, and I'm only basing that obviously on pre-COVID times and also what other clubs are asking for their players. I mean, if somebody said to me now you can swap Zaha for St. Maximin, I wouldn't. And if Crystal Palace wants 70-80 million for Zaha, then I don't see why we wouldn't want 70-80 million for St. Maximin. I appreciate he hasn't scored lots of goals and made lots of assists, but he's playing, let's be honest, he's playing in a pretty poor Newcastle side. He basically drags the team forwards. He drags us. He gets points for us when not many other players could do that. Wilson's goals are incredibly important, but St. Maximin creates the goals. And like I say, he scores the odd few as well. So St. Maximin's really important. In terms of signings going forward, maybe that we might be looking at, for some of the relegated clubs. I just wanted to draw your attention. I know I mentioned Bobby Deeb before. Have a look today at Anguissa. Yeah, Kieran's all over him as well. Number 29. He's a monster, absolute monster. He plays in the centre of the park. I'd swap Shelby for him all day. And obviously everyone knows about number 19, Lookman. Those 2 players, so 29 and 19, have a look at those today because I'm watching them and I think they'd be cracking signings. They're definitely Premier League players, the 2 of them. And I'd certainly want us to try and get involved in both of those players.
I think what Chris was saying there about the money for St. Maximin, it's true about the assists and goals and stuff, but for me, if you look at players in this league, you look at like the likes of Adama Traore and him, you'd only put those 2 really who can run at people kind of at will and run at people and are successful and complete dribbles and take people on. There's very few players in this league that can do that. And for me, that's why it justifies that tag for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Craig Hope, interestingly, he's just put out a tweet saying it's incredible to think that even if Newcastle had lost every game since Brighton, 8 matches, they would have still been level on points with Fulham going into this game. That's quite an amazing stat, that, when you think about it. So, well worth thinking about. Donald, ASM, can you see him being tempted? Can you see Newcastle being tempted to sell him?
Yeah, well, we obviously, just going back to point 1, we're talking about Mike Ashley here. When he sees a big bid come in, Ashley don't care, but it's going to be ka-ching. It's time to cash in. Would we see that 70 million go back in this squad? I don't think so. It'll go to the Ashley Pension Fund. So really should be doing our utmost to keep a hold of ASM, and God willing, this takeover happens. That's the level of player we need, because we have ESM and we bring in other top level players, then he'll get better. Because as Chris rightly said, he is in a poor squad at the minute and he's literally carrying us. And as for swapping him with Willock, no. We try and do something to keep a hold of Willock, because there's chemistry developing there between the two players, and that should be looked at saying those two are gelling. That's helping the team, So yeah, definitely try and keep a hold of him. But as you know, this is football; anything can happen. So
yep, anything can happen. Donald, you're right. Kieran, ESM, will he go? Will he stay?
Anything at a price between 30 to 40 million, I think the owner will probably accept it. And for me, I think he'll want to go. There's no way he's gonna, if the manager and the owner are still here, there's no way he's gonna be here. He's not putting up with another season of this. Definitely not. I mean, he's got ambition, hasn't he? He actually wants to go and do things. I mean, it's not gonna happen here under this regime, is it? And I personally don't think he's worth the money that's been talked about, 70 million. I don't expect that to be the price that a club pays for him. I think it'll be 35 to 40 million. I don't think the owner will accept it, definitely. So I think if that happens, it'll be gone. Yeah, but if the takeover goes through, he'll stay, definitely.
What do you think we need, Steve? Because my opinion is when everyone's fit, the current team isn't actually a million miles away. I think when you look at the first team and we're free of injuries,
it's defenders and midfielders.
Definitely, I think we're centre half, Joe. We're linked with that Ajay from Celtic, aren't we?
Yeah, he's crap.
We're linked with him for around 8 million, I think.
They can't be buying players from the Scottish League. I'm sorry, but
Van Dijk comes back. He's been touted as the next Van Dijk, hasn't he? He's been touted as the next.
That is so. One-off. That is a one-off. That Van Dijk. That Ajay. He's a bloody haddock. I've seen highlights of him. We need to play players.
Problem is, we need another centre forward as well. Because Callum Wilson is injury prone. Surely to God, we're not going to, stick with Gale and Andy Carroll next year. We know that Joe Linton's not a centre forward. We've got one striker at the club, so we need another striker at the very least. That's why I suggested Madja as a potential, because he's young, he's enthusiastic, and he knows where the back of the net is. And if we can set the team up as we have done in the last 10 games, then and with Graham Jones having a full pre-season with these guys, fingers crossed, things could be a little bit better. But you say it's not a million miles off from being a decent side. I mean, on one day we can compete. We've proved it in the last 10 games, but it's it's just an awful thought that we're going to have to go into the new season with Steve Bruce, and it's going to be a nightmare. Pete, I'll come to you. Just you get your chance on ESM. Is that something that you think is going to develop over the course of the transfer window? I mean, Spurs fans are concerned about Harry Kane, and I was listening to a discussion about that earlier today on Sky. They're panicking, but that could go, like a lot of these things, could go to the last day. So we could really see. We could really see ESM starting for Newcastle, but then, the sucker punch is at the end of the transfer window, he ends up leaving.
Do I see him going this summer? No, I don't. I think for a couple of reasons. I think he's got one more year with us. Without a takeover, he's got one more year with us. And I've been convinced of that for a while. I don't see him going in the summer. The second reason why I don't see him going in the summer is because we're in the middle of a potential takeover happening. And for me, whilst that's ongoing, I don't think we sell any of our assets of our club. And I think, if you're Miradad, if you're the Reuben brothers, if you're Amanda Staveley, you'd be saying to Mike Ashley, these players need to stay, because for exactly the reasons why a number of you have already said on the panel, is that he's the type of player that you want to be building a team around. Now, if you're coming in to own the club, you want that sort of player to already be existing, and then signing players like-minded and of the same quality to play alongside him to take the level of player up. So I don't see him leaving for those two reasons, if I'm honest with you. With regards to ASM, he's the reason why these players come to this club. I watched a really good podcast a couple of months ago with Callum Wilson, and he said very, very clearly when he was lined up whether to go to Villa or come to us, that Alan St-Maximin was why he came to this club. Players, good quality players, want to play with good quality players. Willock's come in, and Dunhill talked about the relationship that those two were built up together. Willock and ASM. You throw Callum Wilson in there as well. You throw Miguel Miron in there as well. They all like and love playing with him. And I'm sorry, if he goes in the summer, there's no chance that the likes of Willock are coming to sign for us, because that, for me, and it tells not just me and you as fans, it tells everybody that Newcastle are going backwards by selling their best player. And no player, no decent player in their right mind would then think, oh, they're selling St-Maximin. Yeah, I'll go and play for Newcastle. They're not going to do it. We saw how much we struggled this season without ASM not being in the team. We had our worst point in the season, right, losing all of those games from December through to February without him. He's massive to us. He's such an influential player. His creativity, he's just a spark in the team. He is a genuine threat. By seeing him on the team sheet, other teams get fearful. Whenever you hear an opposition manager talk about Newcastle, the only one they talk about is St-Maximin. They don't talk about Wilson and the goals that he scored. They don't talk about Almiron. They talk about St-Maximin, because they know he is the player that they need to watch out for. And even if, like against Leicester away, he doesn't have the best game, he's still a threat. And what he allows is the other players like Wilson and Almiron go undetected and have better games, because they're putting all of their emphasis in trying to stop ASM. And he has that influence. Without him, we are just not the same team at all. So I don't see him leaving. However, if there isn't a takeover, he's got another year. There was a talk about the value. And I mentioned this before. I look at the values that Everton paid. Everton paid 100 million for two players a few years ago. 50 million for Sigurdsson and 50 million for Richarlison. For me, ASM is miles better than both. So if they're paying 50 million for him, right, in this market, right, ASM is definitely worth at least that. So I'd be going 55, 60, 65 million easily. And for me, I don't see him going for anything less than that.
It's interesting that that you made a good point about Willock there. I think potentially he could end up staying with Willock if Willock does end up signing. But you look at the comments coming out of Arsenal this week, they're considering recalling another. They're going to try and.
Well, for me, Kieran, it's a good point. But for me, it's all smokescreen. Then Arsenal are not going to turn around, and Arteta's not going to turn around and say we don't want him, because that would affect the value which they could get back for him. So of course they're going to say, we want him. He's going to come back and see pre-season out with us. For me, Arsenal don't want him. They want to sell him on. Their fans don't want him. Right, the fans didn't want him. Their fans were happy to get rid of him in January. And he will remember that. Willock will remember that, right? And he's enjoying his football. He's enjoying his football. He's playing regular football. He's been one of the most influential midfielders in these weeks. He's been one of the most influential midfielders in the Premier League in recent weeks. He's the most talked about player, right, in our club, and has been for weeks now. Right, he is given the opportunity to play and to be the person that he wants to be on the pitch. He's given license to be free. He's got like-minded quality players around him. He's enjoying himself. We just have to be able to stump up the money, whatever that money is, to get him to the club. And that's going to be the hardest part.
Simon's wanting to know which prison you're reporting from. Simon's wanting to know which prison you're reporting from, and did you get the top bunk?
Tweet of the week, that.
Is Pete reporting live from his cell today? Hope you've got the top bunk. I think it's your background.
It's the same background all the time.
Yeah. He must just look at you, not your background. He must be bored.
Just two things on ASM before we leave it. One is that look, he's going to be looking. He's going to want Champions League football at some point, and he's come through the ranks at the French ranks as well. He's going to be looking towards World Cups and European Championships And then the other thing you mentioned, Willock, that we talked about there in the match Wednesday, that he's Jethro Williams. He's good friends with him as well. So getting Jethro Williams back for us would be good as well. Another option on that left back, left wing back slot. But he's also good friends with ASM. So keep him happy.
What do you think, Pete? I know when you were talking about Willock before, mate. What I've tried to do is, if I was Joe Willock, like thinking back to when he joined the club, he's Arsenal through and through. He's been at Arsenal since he was a boy. And I was sort of thinking maybe it's the reason he only really came to Newcastle in the first place was to do well and then get in the Arsenal first team. So I'm a little bit sceptical whether Willock would actually rather try and get in the Arsenal team or stay here.
Yeah.
Here he goes. Pass it.
Come on, Joe.
He scored!
Wow.
7-7. My God, that is
The 7.
I'm a little bit behind.
unbelievable. That
I'm a little bit behind as well.
I'm a little bit behind.
I'll answer the question in a second, but wow, what a goal. Fantastic.
7-7.
Put him up front.
By the way, he absolutely burnt that Anguissa off.
Yeah.
No deal, Chris. No deal.
Yeah, Jesus. That was powerful. That was powerful.
He done it to Adama Traore as well. We played Wolves, didn't he?
Willock has got some right pace on him.
Yeah. And he's strong.
Yeah.
There's 70 million now.
Yeah.
Holly, we'll come to you. What did you make of that goal?
Brilliant. They absolutely took it excellently. It's 7-7 now. That's like what a record that is. I mean, it just proves how great he is in this side. And if we do end up not bringing him in this summer, I think it's going to be a really stupid decision and one that we'll regret. Like Pete said, I don't think Arsenal particularly want him. Of course, they're going to say they do, otherwise his value would go down. Yeah. But I don't think he's a player that Arsenal really, if he doesn't fit into their side that well. And also, I know he's an Arsenal fan, but I don't think he'd want to play for Arsenal ahead of Newcastle at the minute, because he'd be guaranteed to be getting regular football constantly at Newcastle. He's loved by the fans, the other players and the manager, and he just wouldn't get that at Arsenal. And for a young player playing in this Newcastle side, he's going to be a standout player, one of the stars. Why would you not want to come? I think he'd be silly, really, if he turned that down, if we put the money up for him. And we can get him, because what a goal again. Just the way he took it, it was perfect. There's not many players in that side that would have the confidence to go and do that. So fair play to him, brilliant player.
What do you make of the game as a whole, Holly? I mean, you've had a bit of time to watch it while the guys have been talking about ASM. Has it been going that way? Was the goal against the run of play in your mind, or was that about right?
Well, you know what? I think that Fulham have been pretty poor. Like, I don't think they've been good, but we just haven't been able to break down the defence as well as we should have. Like, I don't think they've been particularly good in the defence either. It's just Newcastle. They just haven't been really taking their chances. And to be fair to Fulham, they have been taking the ball off us quite a lot whenever we've had possession. But I think Newcastle are the better side, and we did deserve the goal. I don't think Fulham will score in this game, to be honest. So I might go for a 4-0 now instead of a 4-1. But I think we did deserve the goal, yeah. But it's great that we managed to eventually break down the defence, because we weren't managing to keep a hold of the ball. They did keep taking it off us, but I don't think Fulham's been good at all.
Yeah, and just great to be 1-0 up. 25 minutes gone. The feel-good factor continues. And 8 goals in 14 games, says Andy Holby. And yeah, his conversion rate, which has just come up on Sky there, 44% conversion rate. I mean, that's a striker stat. It's unbelievable.
Is it not 7 goals? I thought it was 7, wasn't it?
He scored
no,
7
he's got 7 in about
7 in all.
Okay, sorry.
He scored 8 for Newcastle. Ginger Hoskin, yes, we know that Mike Ashley is there. You did mention as well about the sponsors, etc. They have got a new strip sponsor, sponsor. I think is it Castoro or something like that. Castorio, however you mention it. But that's what it is. Yeah, Ginger. So they have got one. Daz, 1-0 up. Great finish from Willock, and it's great to see a goal like that. It's just so disappointing if this kid does end up leaving Newcastle. Like,
we have to do everything to keep him. And I think someone asked the question on Twitter. I saw it. Would you be happy if Willock was the only signing we made over the summer? Yes. At this stage, I know we need strength in a couple of different positions and a backup striker for Wilson, but. We need to try and keep him. Even if it's on loan again, something to try and to keep him with us, because he's that missing link between midfield and attack. 7 and 7, and yeah, he was like a greyhound there. The way he took off, he got the lucky bounce, but it's. I'd like to have him pick my lotto numbers. He's been that lucky, and he's been on form the last while. So fair play to him.
What the hell?
Actually, when we did take him on loan, I thought I would have probably rathered Maitland Miles or the other Arsenal lad, but Willock has just really, really impressed me.
Yeah, he's been fantastic, mate. Nath, you obviously haven't been on the shows in recent weeks, but I mean, you've been watching the games. Willock's been outstanding, hasn't he? He's really taken, this loan move by the scruff of the neck and done what loan players should do. But again, I guess it's only a few weeks ago we were all scratching our heads when he couldn't even get in the team. Steve Bruce wasn't picking him.
Yeah, that's Bruce all over, though, isn't it? Like, he's got a fantastic player there. I think he showed from his first game, didn't he, that he scored in his debut. Am I right in thinking, didn't he? I think for us, and then he sort of found himself out of the team. I think he had a couple of poor performances following that that initial goal. But yeah, for me, I think the problem we've got is like what Holly was saying about she's not sure he'd want to play for Arsenal, but. Not play regularly for Arsenal, but I think the problem that we've got is that these performances that he's put in the run into the season, I think he's played his way into that Arsenal team, to be honest. And I think they'd be silly not to start him every game, wouldn't they? If you look at what their midfielders are serving up in terms of like assists and goals and stuff, they're not on that level as Willock at the moment. He's eclipsed all of them in goal scoring, hasn't he, for the season? I think I'm right in saying. I think I saw a stat a few weeks ago. It was like he scored more than all of them put together. So yeah, for me, I think he's unfortunate. I think he's played his way into the Arsenal team, and if that's his boyhood club, I think he'll struggle to prize him from Arsenal. I think the problem is as well with every game, for the last sort of 7 games, he's adding to his price tag, isn't he? He's adding. So I don't know whether you want to say 2, 3, 4, 5 million every game. He's adding to that price tag. It looks like so. If you're looking at what you want from a midfielder, box-to-box midfielder like that, he's got power, pace, passing, he can finish. He's got headed goals in his locker as well. He's got everything you want from a player in that position. So it looks like a sort of ready-made first team 11 player for Arsenal, unfortunately. Obviously, I'd love him to come back. Like the lads have said, whether it's a loan or whether we go all out and spend everything we've got to get him. But yeah, I don't think I commented on it earlier on when we were talking about St. Maximin, but I wouldn't want to sell St. Maximin to secure the services of work, because they're completely different add different dimensions to this team. But yeah, I think we'll have a real battle on our hands getting him out of Arsenal. Because I think that we just saw from that goal there, he was in his own half where he sort of won the ball. It was a goal out of completely nothing, wasn't it? He had no rights to travel that far as he did. Yeah, he got the look of the bounce, as Daz said, and where it sprung up for him at the end. But even if he runs that far and plays a good ball, he's that's a great bit of play from him. So yeah, I think we'll struggle, but I would like to see him back.
Yeah, me too. Brandon Anderson, welcome. Always good to have a Sunderland fan from what league is it? 1, 2. I've lost count. Good to have you on anyway, mate. Sutty says we need to clear the decks and invest wisely. Build a team around ASM. Almiron, Wilson, and Willock. Joe Linton, Kraft, Fraser, Gale, Shelby out. Simple. If it was only that simple. Derek's wishing Brandon all the best in League One. I'm sure he will, mate. He's used to it. He's very used to it. And also, Joppa on Twitter has asked us to mention that he deserves a mention in our show today for giving an assist in the goal because he went to the toilet and he missed the goal. So if that gets you an assist, mate, fair play to you. Yeah, Pete, great goal by Willock. That outstanding. And yeah, I think we are going to struggle. If the takeover doesn't go through, we're getting this lad to come to Newcastle because Arsenal will want to keep a hold of him at all costs.
100%. A smart club would would have never let him go on loan. A smart club would certainly not let him leave. But Arsenal are one of those teams, one of those clubs where they don't see the obvious thing. And the fans are like that too. In that the obvious thing would be to take him and embed him into your team, and actually at 21 years old, build a team around him. But Arsenal would rather go and pay 20 million for a player, or 30 million for a player, and replace him. And that's the kind of team that they are. And it wouldn't surprise me if they do that in the summer, because that's just how they work. I mean, they let him go on loan to us. They let Willock leave for us, and then got Odegaard in on loan. And Odegaard's scored 1 goal. But they've gone for the name. They've gone for the name of Odegaard and the fact that he's at Real Madrid, and not looked more in-house at the players that they've already got. And we've realised his potential. And like I said before, I think he'll remember that. He'll remember that, even though he's an Arsenal fan and he's been there since he was a kid. He'll remember that, and he's got to think about his career. The one thing you've got to remember, we've not talked about this at all either, is that Willock's form is England form. It's not just Premier League form. The way he's playing right now, and I'm not saying he's going to get called up for the Euros, because he's not. But I tell you what, come September in those fixtures, if he keeps playing the way he is, there is no other centre midfielder that's doing the sort of numbers that he is right now. There's no other English centre midfielder that's doing the what he's doing right now. Okay, we could talk about Foden, but Foden tends to play on the left or the right, attacking midfield as such. But he is up there, and 21 years old, he's the future of England if he keeps playing that way. So, if we're going to secure the guy, whether it's on loan or whether it's a permanent deal, we're going to have to do something that we don't do as a club very often, is do our business early. We do our business last minute, and we're going to have to change that in order to secure him and get him in.
If he was playing for someone like West Ham or Crystal Palace, he would probably get called up to the England squad, wouldn't he?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
because Newcastle's in they're called apparently it's in Scotland, isn't it? So they don't. You know what I mean?
It's England form, Kieran. It's England. The way he's playing right now. England have a shortage of centre midfielders, quality centre midfielders, right? And you look at the numbers that our centre midfielders that are likely to go to the Euros are doing. They're not doing Willock's numbers. If he's consistent and he carries on, there is no reason why he can't, after the Euros, in September and beyond, be getting called up.
For the World Cup?
I think we've the thing we've not mentioned as well, though, is if we're talking about whether Arsenal are going to let him go or not. Suppose, if we assume that just say if they are willing to let him go and they are willing to listen to offers for him, that's a whole other kettle of fish. Whether our offer is going to be the highest one, because it's probably not going to be, is it? There's going to be other teams that will look at him as well. I know he's got that connection with fans, and he seems to be enjoying himself here. But if Everton or someone else come in with 10 million more than us, then he's not coming here, is he? That's another thing as well.
Yeah.
The good thing about Willock is, some footballers have crazy agents, that a bit that are in it for themselves. But Willock's agency's dad. Willock's agency's man. So you'd like to think his dad might have his dad's obviously got his best interests at heart. He knows what's right for his son's career, and he's playing the best football of his career at Newcastle at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I think that goal in particular, though, as good a goal it was, you'd have to think he was the fact he took it from midfield. Arsenal might be looking at that and thinking, we need that. It was almost like Vieira-esque, wasn't it?
I was going to say that.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, I agree with it, Charlie. Yeah, exactly what I was going to say. I said that sort of thing Vieira at his best was doing for Arsenal and for France. Powering through the middle of the park and either a pass or blasting it in bottom corner. Yeah, so yeah.
I want to hold my hands up and say, Joe Willock, I am sorry, mate. I'm sorry, because when we signed you back in January, I had me doubts. It was a deadline day signing. I was thinking, why we're signing this Arsenal reserve player? It's a panic signing, blah, blah, blah. But ever since he's pulled on the Toon shirt, he's proved us wrong. Yeah. And even if he's the only person that would bring here this summer, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those, you just never know. I would put him up there with Loic Remy. As a signing, Remy did exactly the same when he came in on loan. Absolutely superb, banging the goals in, kept us up, and it's as simple as that. And look, whoever made the decision to bring him in, deserves a big pat on the back. So well done to them. Brandon is continuing to amuse everybody on the chat as well as everybody on the screen. I see we were all over them the first half. He's still going on about the Lincoln game. Brandon, listen, mate, it'll be all right tomorrow morning, mate. That's all I can say to you.
It's a shame that the first half was actually the first leg.
Yeah, exactly.
Never mind. Dunno. Joe Willock. I mean, it'd be great to get him signed on.
Yeah.
It's gonna be tough, I think. To get him.
Yeah. Absolutely, it is going to be tough. I mean, as I say, this good form has definitely added heaps onto his value. Yeah, and another thing I was going to say was if Gareth Southgate's watching, he's been the informed central midfielder in terms of English-wise, because the others haven't done a great deal, but he's weighed in with goals. I would take him to. I would put him on the, I was going to say put him on the plane, but we're playing, but put him in the squad for the upcoming Euros, Hey, he'll play with no fear.
I mean, it's the one area, unfortunately for him, where there's an abundance of talent, and he's already got a hell of a decision to make on who he takes. Grealish is the one that everyone would like to see go, but is probably going to be the fall guy. You'd imagine that, his behaviour off the pitch might cost him a little bit, But it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see. I think Willock certainly put himself in the shop window.
Definitely.
And look, contracts are there to be broken. Newcastle's takeover goes through. I think it could be a formality. I think he'd love to come and money would be no object. I think if Newcastle's takeover doesn't go through in time, then Newcastle might have to make a decision to spend their entire budget on him and at least put an offer in. There would be daft not to put an offer in, Dunnell, if the opportunity arises.
Well, a player like that, I mean, this season, aside from he's been a great loan signing. I mean, the loan signings that went before him under Bruce, but he has been, I thought, wow, that's been a find, But hopefully, when this, God willing, this takeover happens, and instead of shopping in the reduced item pile, we actually go for the, the top label pile this time.
We'll be dropping in weight rolls.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
I'm just laughing at that. Andrew Smeaton's gone. Anyway, this is to our resident Mackham today. He said, that's George Honeyman as your profile picture, Brandon. The guy doesn't even play for you anymore. And now he's gone, no, it's not. It's Lugo 9. So I wouldn't know any of these Sunderland players if I met them in the street. I've got to be honest. So fair play for guessing anyway. Kieran. Willock, it'd be great to keep him, wouldn't it, mate? But like I've said to everybody else, it's an uphill struggle at the moment to think about that.
It's the big question, even if the takeover goes through. I mean, we've had this discussion before. Would they be looking at sort of better players? Would you imagine, or just? I mean, I think under Mike Ashley it'd be a great signing, definitely. The problem is he's not going to pay the money. That's the problem. Under new owners, they would pay the money, and I think the player wants to come, doesn't he? Although he did say that he was considering options. So has he had has he got other clubs in the frame, or I don't know, but I think he would definitely come back here. In my opinion, under Ashley, it's a no-brainer. But if there's new owners, I think they'll probably be looking at better players. Possibly, if they can find them and if they want to come.
Yep.
What do you think he's worth?
For me, I would say 15 to 20 million. That would be what the price they'd be looking for. I wouldn't pay 30 million quid for him, because that's just. You mean if you're talking about the transfer budget, that will spend it all, wouldn't it? We won't have any money left.
It would do. Barry Hogan, thanks for your message, mate. I'll read it out just in case it zooms past. Can I just say, guys and girls, regardless of the Toon results this season, you guys have been a lifeline through very dark times. You're all amazing. Thank you for coming on my heart. So thanks for that, Barry. Thank you very much, mate. Much appreciated. Chris Hall, just on the Willock situation as we come into half-time, Newcastle leading 1-0 at Craven Cottage. Your views on the Willock situation?
Yeah, I feel quite bad about Joe Willock, to be honest, because I was saying a few weeks ago that, you know, if and when the takeover happens, that really we should be setting our sights a bit higher than Joe Willock. But I've completely changed my mind on that now. I think I'd love to see Ashley sign Joe Willock. I don't see it, but I'd love to see it happen. But, you know, if the new owners were to walk through the door tomorrow and they were to ask me, I'm sure they wouldn't, but if they were to ask me who would you be going for, the first name on my list would be Joe Willock, because he absolutely, you know, deserves an opportunity to stay at Newcastle. I think that he would stay at Newcastle. I think he just wants to be loved, doesn't he? And there's nothing worse. He's at his boy club, Arsenal, and you know he probably feels like he's kind of been discarded. Arteta will absolutely, as Pete said, Arteta will say that, you know, they want to keep Willock. Of course they will, because they're not going to say, oh, we don't want him anymore, because then that'll drive the price down. But when you send a player out on loan, to me, I think you kind of made your mind up on that player. He's only 21. There's a lot of time for him to even further improve. But on what I've seen and what he's been doing over the last few weeks, everyone's got to be interested in Joe Willock. I think it won't even just be us. There could be other players who you know are keen on him, and I just hope we do get the deal done. But we do have that advantage in that I think he's felt the love, even though it's only been one game with the fans being there. He's felt the love, and he's probably excited, thinking, "Wow, you know, this is the atmosphere when there's 10,000 fans. Imagine when there's 50." And imagine, you know, if there's a takeover, he could be part of something really exciting at Newcastle. And with the fans fully behind him and exciting players like St. Maximin in the team and Callum Wilson, with the promise of further better players to be added to that squad. I would, if I was a neutral, I would rather play for Newcastle than Arsenal at the moment if the takeover happens. Because I think you know we're going to be a club on the up, and I think a lot of clubs will be a lot of players will be keen to join Newcastle, and I think Joe Willock will be one of them.
Yeah, somebody asked if we're doing match day live for the England games. No, we'll be doing. We will be looking at the England games with Supermac and Gibbo. I think that's the plan. I'm not sure whether Loaded Football's got any plans to do the international games or anything like that. Have the Daz?
Yeah, we're going to do a few of them. I would guess. I was just looking through the fixtures. I'd say England, Scotland might be one that we could definitely do. But
if you want a bit of international football, then subscribe to Loaded Mag on YouTube. Just search it up, Loaded Mag, easy to find. Subscribe to them. The lads will be doing it. I'm going to give the Match Day Lives a break until the start of next season. The good news is that obviously with Match Day Live, we've got a few exiled fans and people who live abroad and people, you know, like Daz who, you know, are more than willing to carry them on next season if you know, me, you know, in particular will be at a lot of the games. And you know, from my perspective, you know, we will continue it. I'm sure there'll be quite a few fans will be up for doing it as well. Might just not be the amount of numbers that we get on a regular basis, but yeah, I know that Daz and that is keen to carry on and doing it, and it's always a good opportunity to promote Loaded Mag, Daz, if nothing else.
Absolutely,
that's it, Steve.
And steal all of the subscribers. I know you're planning.
What's that up there?
You need to shave your head and get a cat. I think that's what you need to do. Never mind, mate.
Do we know if all the games are going to be like shown on TV again?
I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure, but I'm sure Daz will get some kind of Irish stream.
No,
Kieran, they're on mainstream TV. The Euro ones, yeah, they're on mainstream.
But Newcastle games, I think he was talking about.
Newcastle. Oh, sorry.
Because of course, hopefully we will be coming out of COVID, and we'll all be able to go to games again.
Because it looks like they're going to be the full stadiums. They're talking, aren't they? They're talking about getting full capacity, but whether that happens or not.
What was the game like the other day, Steve? I know Steve and Holly, were you there as well?
No, I was going to come to you about this, Charlie. We'll get Holly's opinion on that. You've read me mind, Charlie, because obviously I know you're going to go off. It's nearly half time, 1 minute injury time to play. Newcastle winning 1-0. I was going to ask you if you went to the game, but you obviously didn't.
I didn't, mate. I didn't know. I was at work again. I've been working a lot, mate, so I haven't been able to watch much of the tune. The last game I actually properly watched was the last time I was on here. Was it the Arsenal game I got beat?
Yeah.
So I was listening on the radio, mate. I was listening on the radio. But I seen you went, and I'm sure Holly went as well. So
yeah, we managed to meet after the game as well, which was great, just to get a quick photograph, etc. But it was nice. Steve Hasty was there. Keith Patterson was there from NCSL. He was collecting for the food bank. It was nice, nice to bump into a few people. I bumped into quite a few people who when I go to away games, I go to as well. A couple of my mates who like to drink a lot before the game. Paulie. Anyone who goes to the away games will know Paulie from Jarrow tends to wear the absolutely horrendous luminous coats and shirts, etc. He's always there. He's always mortal. And my other mate Simon, who to be fair was about 3 sheets to the wind instead of the 5 sheets to the wind than he normally is. But it was good to see them. I think they were trying to get their entire season's alcohol intake in one game. I think that's what they were trying to do. But listen, it was good. My experience. Really was great. I had to go 40 minutes before the game. I got up there, checked my ID, and I was straight in. And that was it, straight to the seat. I thought the stewarding, which sometimes is rather overzealous in the stadium, sometimes they're chucking people out for no reason. I saw stewards having to deal with a few situations of people taking the mask off. Some people jumping up and down in front of people. So they were clearly not in the right part of the stadium, for that carry on. They were sitting in front of mums and dads and kids, etc. People in the wrong seats. But overall, I thought it went really well. It didn't surprise me that with 10,000 fans in, it still sounded as if there was 52,000 there. I guess the overall experience was probably like being in the Stadium of Light, only having 10,000 fans there. Now we know what it's like to be a Mackem. But overall, thoroughly enjoyed it. And I've got to be honest, I had a tear in my eye when Local Hero came on. I think it was just the realisation that we're back in the ground and happy, we're on we're on those steps towards recovery, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. Holly, what about you?
Yeah, exactly the same, Steve. It was quite an emotional day. I felt the same, just being away for so long because I'm normally at every game. And then when you saw the players coming out and stuff, it was quite, it got a bit emotional, but brilliant to be back. It was great. It was a bit weird, it wasn't a normal match day experience, but just so happy to be back, and it made us get that bug again, just wanting to go back to the game. So I was like gutted that I can't go this weekend because I normally would have been there. And then I was like, I just hope we can get back next season because I just remind us how much I missed it. I mean, I already knew, but it just, I was like, I've definitely missed going to the game. It's just not the same watching it on the TV for me anyway.
Yeah, I've got to be honest, I was the same. You just want to go. You want to go back to the game. And, that was the thing. I do know people who are at Fulham today. I'm not going to say where or why or how, but they are there. Lucky buggers. I hope they're enjoying themselves, which is great. So, Charlie, we'll come to you for your first half review before you have to shoot off, mate. Give us your views on that first half. Newcastle winning 1-0 at Fulham.
Pretty professional performance, mate. I think it's just a case of job done. I think Willock's been the star man yet again. We've talked about him already a lot on the show. It's mad because this game, if it had been 1-0 and it was like a relegation nail biter, we'd all be like, we'd all be stressed out of minds. But we can enjoy it. We can enjoy the second half now. Well, I'll be listening on the radio, and it's just nice, mate. It's just nice to get the season out the way because it has been a tough one. In terms of the league itself, it has been quite poor. I know the title was decided months ago. Relegation's been decided a while. It's just all about next season now. We'll have to plan for next season, starting from tomorrow morning. Monday morning, we need to start plotting for next season. Just get Willock, keep Willock behind after the game as long as we need him to, and tell him to stay in Newcastle. That's what we need to be doing.
Yeah, that's what we need to be doing. And I guess just, any message for the fans and that out there, because you've been a part of Matchday Live. I hope you've enjoyed it, mate. It's been great having you on.
No, mate, honestly, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. If you will have us on next season, I'll be more than happy to come on during the match day and that, Steve.
No, it'll be good. We'll get you on during the summer, mate. I know we're going to continue with quite a few of the shows, doing some different bits and bobs. And I think what we're going to do is as well, those people who didn't do their favourite all-time Newcastle United 11, I'm going to record some more of those and get you on. So, we'll get you on for one of them as well if you're up for it.
Spot on, mate. Definitely. Always up for it. The West End of Newcastle needs its Chinese takeaway driver, though, so I think I'm going to have to shoot.
That's good. And we'll try and catch up for a pint over the summer as well. Maybe it's for the Euros, so I'll drop you a message, mate. Okay?
Spot on, Steve, mate. Nice one. Look after yourself. See you later, everybody.
See you,
when you go shopping, Charlie, get some of them for Brandon, will you? Some Lincolnshire pork sausages.
See you later,
Thanks, Charlie.
Take care, mate.
Great to have Charlie on. And
Yeah,
that's been I think that's been the beauty of this show. Just having all of you guys and girls on. The Match Day Live experience has been fantastic. And I mentioned it on Friday on the Three Amigos, that just something which other channels have done. Probably the one show where we just decided to do what other people were doing. All of our other shows have been like original material, but this one has been great, and I'm just amazed at how many people enjoy it and watch it. So we'll definitely continue it next season in some shape or form, and hopefully the likes of myself and Holly and other people who are at the match might be able to jump on from time to time. Not give you live coverage from inside the game, of course, but just coming on and giving our opinion. So we'll see. I just don't want us to become one of those, shows where we end up sitting watching the game and watching our screen instead of watching the game, and then just shouting and bawling like some of these other shows. It's not us, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Okay, halftime analysis from you, Holly.
Good game. I think we could have scored more goals, to be honest. I'm surprised we're not more than 1-0 up. I think Fulham's been pretty poor. We'll definitely prove that with a better side. Fulham proved that they're a relegated team pretty much. But Joe Willock, again, I've already said it, fantastic. Need to get him sorted in the summer. Overall, I think we've been pretty good. Martin Dubravka's been decent. The defence has been all right. But yeah, no complaints. Just a pretty laid-back game. Hopefully we can score a few more in the second half, and positive way to end the season if it ends like this.
Okay, good stuff, Daz.
Yeah, I suppose a couple of weeks ago I thought it'd be the shootout that we'd be having here today, and it would be all or nothing, and we could have been crying here on YouTube, and it being played back to us for years to come. But it's not that today. It's a meaningless game. But yeah, we're definitely on top. Fulham have one or two chances as well, but nothing really major. And it's been the Willock show, and just a showcase of what we'll miss if we can't hold on to him into next season in some fashion.
Yeah, like they used to say on Bullseye, here's what you could have won. It's got that kind of feeling about it. Half-time analysis, mate.
Yeah, I think it's been as Daz said, it's been really nice to sit here and sort of enjoy the game rather than what it could have been if things had been a bit different earlier in the season. I thought Shelby's had a decent game, actually, for once. I thought he's looked quite good in possession. He's flown into a few tackles, which I've not seen him do for all season, probably. And his passing's been decent as well. I guess it's just Shelby all over to sort of turn it on, when it doesn't even matter, does it? So that's him all over. But yeah, I think we've looked very comfortable. They've had a few chances, but I don't think they've ever really looked troubled. I don't think Dubravka's had much to do in terms of, I think their shots have been wide of the mark a lot of the time. But same for ours as well. We've not really troubled the keeper apart from a couple of chances that we've had. I think ASM's been lively. He's been he's made a few good runs, but he's not really clicking with that final ball, or he's had a few shots that he's dragged wide. But yeah, it's been. I think it's comfortable. We look like we don't look as. I think we look half on the beach. I'd say not fully on the beach. It's just a bit of a stroll, isn't it, at the moment? I think.
A bit of a stroll as things heating up in the chat with Brandon. He's certainly having a field day in there. He's getting a few bites. Pete, as we're getting ready for the start of the second half, mate, your take on the first half?
It was as much as I thought it would be. Fulham tend to run and have a lot of the ball, but actually don't do a lot with it. And that's pretty much been the case, really. So, we're looking to hit them on the counter-attack. It's how we got our goal. And I think we fully deserve to be 1-0 up right now. We've been playing really well. Obviously, Nathan touched on Shelby, who has had a good game, but I don't think we've talked enough recently about Emil Kraft. I think he's played well again, and I think he's played really well recently. And we've all given him stick, and rightly so, because he's been awful at times in the last 18 months. But actually, he's come into a little bit of form, so fair play to him. And again, he's looked really sharp. What he adds to that centre-back three pairing is pace. He's not the fastest in the world, but he's certainly faster than Dummett and Fernandez. And he's had a really, really, really comfortable game. He's looked good at the back there. So fair play to him. The only issue I have with our team is that we just don't have a central striker. So we've had a couple of attacks, and then the attacks broke down, but then the ball's gone back into the box and there's no one centrally. And as a striker, you would naturally want to be in that middle position. And that's just what we're lacking at the moment, just that central striker to be in fishing around the box. But other than that, we're comfortable. And I see potential for us to get another couple of goals second half.
Al-Walid, welcome, mate. You're watching the football, I think.
Actually, yeah, it's an important game for my son practice. Hopefully, someday he will play for Newcastle.
Fingers crossed, mate. Just want to say a big thank you to Al-Walid for his kind invite last night onto the show, which he broadcast across in Saudi. It was fantastic, great to be on as well with Steve Hasty and with the guys from Loaded as well. It was just nice to be on the other side of things, Al-Walid. And if people want to follow you on Twitter, LW Newcastle, they can find a link for that and watch it. But great to be on. And I know Spenny was hoping that he could have been on. As you know, Spenny's had a little mishap and isn't too well at the moment. But he's on the road to recovery, back home now. But he was hoping he could be on as well. So we sent our wishes out to Spenny at the start of the show.
Yeah, actually, hope he will get well soon, and also our thoughts with him. I wish if he joined us last night, and I'm glad that you all make it, guys. And I received a lot of questions regarding the brand new information for some of the Saudi fans. When you're talking, Steve and Steve Hasty, Martin, and all the lads joined us last night. And also I catch some of Ben Jacob, my friend Ben Jacob today. I catch some 20 minutes of. I like the idea that you are talking the other side, hearing other side of the story or what's going on. So new information. This is more evidence that everything, hopefully, inshallah, it will be solved. It will be solved soon. I just joined and I just checked in Google that Joe Willock made finally 7x7, which is I'm grateful for that. And later on, I will of course see the goal, and I hope I didn't see the first half, but I hope we will continue ending this season with winning.
Yeah, people are wondering if that's a guy called Brandon standing outside my house. No, it's not. Brandon's clearly still on the chat, getting completely mullered by Newcastle fans. And Mark's asking, has anyone got a big reveal today? No, I really do hope not. I can only cope with one of those a week. No! Christ. Oh, my heart was going there, Donald. My heart was going there. Oh, look, we're getting some live footage from Al-Walid. What was going on there?
Yeah, they are playing preparation for a game, and they are doing some practice.
Very good, very good.
Where are you streaming that from?
From Riyadh.
No, I'm joking.
It sounded real. It sounds regimental. Like, I bet you they do what they're told. That noise is louder than the Stadium of Light, says Chris McCarthy, which is not wrong.
Yeah, that's why I will mute the. Because the sound, so I don't want to annoy you guys.
Yeah, and Andy says Brandon's got a big reveal. It's stuck in my letterbox. I hope not. Martin, first half, your thoughts?
Didn't watch it at all, mate. I was out shopping, so sorry about that. But I said I'd drop on for a bit. I just seen the goal, obviously on the playback. So yeah, it looks like we've been playing okay. Glad to see that Pete is alive and well. I was a little bit worried about him this morning when he texted me. Not feeling too well. It's got a few different shades there. But yeah, looks like we played okay. From what I've seen of the highlights, doesn't look like Fulham have offered up too much. A couple of half chances. So yeah, let's go out and finish it in style. Another couple of goals, hopefully. So yeah, sit on this off and hopefully we see the season out.
How was your curry last night?
Curry was lovely. Thanks very much. I had a lamb jalfrezi, keema naan, topped off with a heap of rice and quite a few bottles of Desperados. So I wasn't as bad as Pete this morning, but yeah, that notice of the letterbox, I think that was me head for the first half hour this morning. But yeah, no, it was very nice. Yeah, it was nice. Bit of TV. Yeah, cool. Nice evening.
Viewer discretion, Derek. You're not wrong, especially after what Mitch did. Chris, your views on the first half, mate, as the teams are back out on the pitch to kick off the second half?
Yeah, I'm quite surprised. I was expecting more from Fulham, I'm not going to lie. But I suppose it's evident why they are where they are. They just look toothless. And as Nathan said, Shelby's actually has a pretty decent game. But in part, I do think that's probably because he's been kind of allowed to. He's not looked like a passenger as he has done in previous weeks. He's been given that little bit of space. I noticed Ruben Loftus-Cheek's getting ready to come on, so maybe they're going to put a bit more bite in the midfield now. I don't know, but yeah, it's gone reasonably well, and I totally agree with what Pete said as well. Obviously, Kraft got his first goal the other week, and since then he's looked pretty solid, hasn't he? To be fair to him, which is nice to see. It's nice, you know. Nobody has a go at players and wants them to do badly, but at the same time they should be called out when either the effort's not there or that they're clearly not, you know, at the required standard. But Kraft's had plenty of stick this season, but to be fair to him, he's really stepped it up in the last few games. So fair play to him for that. But yeah, looking forward to the second half. Obviously, you know, I'd love us to score 2, 3, 4. So I'm hoping Holly's prediction's correct. It's always nice to see plenty of goals. But yeah, I've enjoyed the first half. And yeah, hopefully a good second half.
You know, I've made a joke about Kieran's new den being like Fred West's cellar. Kieran, can you just stand up again, mate?
Stand up.
Stand up to see what's behind you. Is that a blood-soaked pillow?
A what?
A blood-soaked pillow.
No.
Oh, thank God for that.
Flower.
Yeah.
I thought we're on the set of like.
I'll turn it around.
Got a candlestick behind him as well. It's like Cluedo.
Yeah,
In the barn with the candlestick.
You picking up a head like that or something like that. Yeah, God. Donald, second half's kicked off. What do you see coming from this, mate? Are you still confident?
Yeah, I'm still confident. We're going to have to really concentrate in the middle of the park. They've brought Ruben Loftus-Cheek on, and we all know what he can do. So they're going to really have to keep an eye on him, you know, because he can change things for them. But other than that, I'm confident. I think we can see the job out and, you know, end the season on a happy note, as need I say. But
a happy place, just like
happy place,
like Turfmoor. Kieran,
Yeah.
what's your take then now? What, you know, the first half, I mean, you went for a Desmond, didn't you? 2-2 draw. You still fancying a draw in this game?
No, I think we'll win this. Just their problem's just scoring goals, isn't it? I mean, it'd be interesting to see if they had Callum Wilson for like the majority part of the season. Do you think they would have gotten out of it, or do you think it's like another Brighton where they can't really score goals?
Oh, should have been 2. Yeah, I mean, look, it's interesting, isn't it? Somebody made a question there before. See if I can find it. Jason Carter. He said, Kieran, if we were playing 17th versus 18th right now, do you think it will be a different game? It's a good question.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it'll be. It'll be a lot more nervous, definitely, and I think they would probably be the favourites because obviously they got the crowd and they're at home and all that. But we usually buckle under pressure, don't we? So I'm just so glad it hasn't come down to this game because God, we would be in big trouble, definitely. That's for sure.
Yeah, Derek says there's a bit of positivity from you today.
Yeah,
he is happy.
But yeah, definitely. I'm feeling positive, a lot more positive. I mean, like I said, if this did come down to the last game, I don't think we would have. It would be completely different, definitely.
Jason Carter says, I asked Fred West in for a beer once and he said, no, it's okay. I've got some minutes in the fridge. That is quality, Jason, all the way from Germany. He's here all week. He's here all day. Well done, Jason. Classic. Yeah, it is. Holly, Ben Jacobs, I'm not sure whether you'll have had time to catch up with the day, but he was given a rather balanced view as he always does on the takeover. And Keith Patterson, of course, on Friday was a lot more positive. It seems as if we've got a bit of a date on the horizon with arbitration and stuff like that. Now, are you confident, or are you more confident or less confident? Do you think about the takeover?
I think I'm kind of just the same. I know that July's been rumoured for the arbitration kind of coming to an end and stuff. I think it'll roll into next season, definitely, in my opinion. I don't think it's just going to go plain sailing like it's gone over the past couple of years. I mean, what takeover have you known that's went on for this long? I think there's going to be complications probably at some stage, but I think it probably will happen. it's just the time scale on that. If it went through in July, brilliant. But I can honestly see this going on for quite a while longer. Personally, it's so hard. I worry about the next season, because if the takeover doesn't happen, obviously we don't have a chance to sort the players and the manager out. We're going into the new season. Ashley doesn't invest, and then we'll have the relegation problems again, which is just another whole problem that I don't want to have to deal with. But yes, I'm going to be positive. Last year of the season, yes, I think it'll go through. When, I don't know. If it was July, end of summer, absolutely brilliant. I think we'll go into the next season, but fingers crossed, Keith and everyone else that's in, summer's kind of the time it's looking to be happening. Hopefully they're right.
Okay, Brandon has now gone on to support Sheffield United because they're playing red and white, and they're in the Premier League for at least a day. So there you go, Brandon. Well done. They are winning 1-0. Thanks for that update. And Daz, Takeover, how are you feeling? Still the same? Positive, more positive or negative?
Still the same. Actually, just thinking back to my first ever show. I think Martin was on as well, the first day in August, and I was hoping for the very next day to hear something positive. And it's after this game finishes, it'll be like Bobby Ewing in the shower in Dallas. It's like it never even. It could be like it never even happened, because it all resets and we're back in the exact same position we were back in August or whenever. But yeah, no, I'm still positive on it. There's a lot happening in the background. I did say I would give it till August. I think I have to give it longer than that. Potentially till January again. But I'm hoping that we hear something a bit more positive in June, July, August, and that we could actually then have an impact in the transfer market and strengthen in some way, shape, or form, and start the project and bring Rafa. And we obviously, on something else we touched on, we don't want to see Rafa heading off to Wolves. Hopefully, Rafa will stay there for us as well. So, yeah, I'm positive, Steve. But come January, we can't keep going on this forever. Something has to happen sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I'd agree. It could be in the summer. People keep asking. I don't mind people asking, when's it going to happen? Is this positive? Is that negative? And all I would say is watch the Amigos on a Friday night. That's when you get all of us sitting talking about it. And I tend to listen just as much as you guys do, because Keith Patterson knows what he's talking about. Steve Mitch and I have been involved in other potential takeovers as well, and we both have information coming from both sides. But watch the Three Amigos from Friday night. Again, it was another good one. In fact, the last two have been the most informative, I think, in recent times. And if you want to balance it up, if you want to keep your feet on the ground, as somebody described it today, watch the Ben Jacobs interview today. The good news is Ben Jacobs and hopefully Keith will do a show together in the next week or two. So that's going to be an interesting one. So again, you'll be able to get your questions in, and we'll have a bit of debate between the two of them. I think that will be quite interesting to hear how that goes.
Throw Aloid in as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, it'd be interesting to hear the two of them, though. They're not massively apart. And I thought, the last 2 minutes where what Ben said about Keith, I thought was rather nice, and I think it'll be quite a good meeting of minds. So it will be interesting. I think we'll get Mitch onto that as well, because Mitch knows both of them quite well. So we'll see. I'll try and get that sorted in the next week or so. Nath, your views? I know you've me and you've been in touch, since we got to know each other online, and you've often wanted to know, like, try to get the inside view off me, and I've always been very honest. I still think it'll go through. The point that was made there by Life Goals is the club's values apparently dropped to 190 million. This is due to COVID, of course. Do you think PIF and Cole still be willing to pay £315 million? I mean, I personally do, because the deal's been done. They've shook hands on the deal. The deposit's been paid. I can't see PIF trying to move the goalposts, and I don't think Mike Ashley would let them either.
No, I think that deal will probably stand. I think that's there's a gentleman's agreement there, definitely, isn't there? Even though they supposedly walked away at this moment in time, I think that'll stand. I think if PIF had any objections about that price, then I think we would get into some real trouble, because I don't think Ashley's going to take any less, but I wouldn't anticipate that being a huge problem. With regards to the interview today, I really enjoyed the interview with Ben Jacobs. It's always, I think the last 2 times he's been on as well, it's been really informative. He's obviously like a very articulate and well-connected guy. He's got sources sort of all over the place, isn't he? Like you mentioned, in Saudi, in Qatar as well, and in the Premier League. I think there's a lot of comments I saw in the chat as well today, but people were saying that he was sort of being negative, or maybe taking negatives, or walking away from the interview with some negatives regarding the takeover. But I think it's important to not forget that he's got these contacts in the Premier League. He's well connected. He's got the ear of the Premier League to a degree, and they are going to sound positive about the potential lawsuit action. At no point are they ever going to make any sounds otherwise, are they? They're never going to say that they're worried about it, because that obviously sort of colours the jury and the judges, doesn't it, before it even begins. So it's all posturing at this stage, isn't it, from the Premier League? I think everyone that takes a case on and that lets a case go to court, they're going to say that they're confident, even if they're not, and if they're not that confident, I think it'll probably be arranged. It'll be arranged or settled or awarded beforehand. I think my sort of takeaways from the recent Amigo shows and the Ben Jacobs show is that I think the disclosure from the competition action is going to be key to unlocking the arbitration. Because I think the arbitration is already kind of is sort of weighted towards the Premier League with the judge still resigning on that panel that they tried to remove. But I think, as Ben said today, if there are some key points and key elements of disclosure that come out of the competition action tribunal, I think that is going to unlock this takeover for us. So I wouldn't be surprised to see us push for that competition action first and to get that disclosure. And I think that will inform a lot of what goes on and inform a lot of the reputation that the Premier League carry going into that arbitration, which I think will be crucial. I don't think for a second the Premier League will want any of this being dragged through the courts in terms of the disclosure and the conversations that they've no doubt had with government, with other teams, with Qatar, that kind of thing. So I think that could round off what has been a really, really awful 12 months for the Premier League. And I think they'll want to avoid that.
Yeah, well, I think all good things come to those who wait, and God, we've had to wait. But if it takes another few months, then so be it. I think that's the way that's the way it's going to be. We're just going to have to hope that it goes through. Pete, your take on recent takeover events?
It's the same as it always has been. They're just delaying the inevitable, and the inevitable is that I personally believe that the takeover will go through. I think the evidence that Keith's been putting out there last few weeks has been fantastic watch, and I just think the delaying from the Premier League for so long, right, says to me that they haven't got enough evidence to not allow this takeover to go through, but they're trying to just make it as difficult as possible until they have to hand over the keys, really, and say, right, we have to let this go through. So I think it will happen. For our benefit, the club and the fans, we need it to happen this summer to ensure that we can start building for next season. We don't want it to go through into another season. It's probably likely to, or so right up to the start of the season, but it's going to go through. It's just a case of us being a little bit patient for a little bit longer. And like you just said, Steve, we've been patient for so long. We just have to just hang in there a little bit more, because, as I've said before, I'm quite happy to wait another 2, maybe 3 months for this to go through, to ensure that we don't have to go through another 13, 14 years of what we've suffered under Mike Ashley. I'm quite prepared to do that, to ensure that there are the rest of my days supporting Newcastle are going to be enjoyable ones, and we're actually going to see good players come to the club, good managers running the club, and hopefully in years to come, some trophies in the trophy cabinet. So for me, I'm prepared to wait that little bit longer to ensure that we're in that position. I do not want to go through any more seasons of where we're going to get these 40 points from and looking at the fixtures. I want to be looking at the fixtures every season, thinking, right, where are we going to be in the top half? Are we going to be pushing for Europe? Are we going to, hopefully, fingers crossed in years to come, look beyond that? That's what I want to be looking at, and I know all the other fans doing the panelists will do as well. So, hang in there, fingers crossed, but they're delaying the inevitable. We'll get what we want.
Yeah, fascinating day in the Premier League, even though it's not about winning the league or relegation. You'll be seeing the scores coming up on your screen anyway. People posting them into the chat. But City 3-0 up against Everton. Aston Villa 2-0 up against Chelsea, which of course means that if Chelsea don't win the Champions League, they will not have Champions League football at Stamford Bridge. And for a team like Chelsea with banking on being in the Champions League each season, that's going to be a big blow to them. And Arsenal, of course, slipped right down the league this season. A bad season for them as well. So will Leicester and Liverpool be the teams flying the flag in the Champions League alongside the two Manchester clubs? It's looking very likely as Leicester 2-1 up against Tottenham after Vardy got a penalty. So interesting times. Just glad that nothing banking on this game as Newcastle hit the hour mark, still 1-0 up. Fulham been pressing a bit more in this game, it has to be said, in this half, it has to be said. Few more chances on goal. Newcastle seem to have taken their foot off the pedal and just strolling around a little bit. Maybe he could do with an injection of a bit of pace or a different substitute or whatever. Lots of people asking whether Andy Carroll should come on today. I'm not one for sentimentality. I think he got his run out the other night at St James's, and I'm not sure whether we'll see him today at all. But Chris Hall, takeover talk. Positive going into the summer?
Yeah, I think so. I love watching the Famigos, as you know, Steve, and I always enjoy the Ben Jacobs interviews as well because he does give that balanced view. Some people like him, some people don't. He's a bit of a Marmite character, but I always think he comes across really well, and it is interesting to see both sides of the story. But yeah, I still feel confident. And I think it's going to be an interesting summer because ideally, I know these new dates have been thrown around, and we're all hoping, aren't we, that it's kind of settled before it gets too late. My biggest concern, I suppose, is that God forbid we get to like the January transfer window and it's still not done, because January is always notoriously a really difficult window. I wouldn't particularly want us to be signing players during that period. In an ideal world, we'd like the takeover to be done well before the start of the season, so that the new manager hopefully will have a good pre-season and be able to bring in the numerous players that we do need. But I'm kind of resigning myself from what I'm hearing that we're going to have Bruce and we're going to have Ashley come the start of the season. So I've resigned myself to that a little bit, but it doesn't mean that, like Pete said, we haven't got brighter things to come in the future. And if somebody said to me, you've got to wait a year, but you'll get your takeover, great. I'm concerned. I want to make sure that we stay in the Premier League. Last thing we want is to go down. But at the same time, even if we were to go down and we got our takeover, it just means that we're rid of Ashley and we can start a new fresh approach. But I still feel hopeful, and I still think the Premier League. I've just got this feeling. I don't know what it is. Probably from what yourselves on the Free Amigos have said. I still feel like there is potential for this to be settled outside of court. I don't think the Premier League will want to take Newcastle on. Certainly not on two cases. And I do still feel that there will be scope for negotiation and possibly them backing down, because I don't think they're going to want all their dirty laundry aired in public, and perhaps there'll come a point where maybe they're hoping that the arbitration will go in their favour. But I do still firmly believe that the takeover will happen, and I'm obviously keeping my fingers crossed, like we all are.
Yeah, we certainly are. And if the takeover does go through, Q-Tech's come up with a brand new T-shirt, the Zebra T-shirt, which is lovely.
Class.
In a mixture of sizes. NUFCmatters.com. Get yourself onto there. John has loaded them up onto the website. And I think it's about time we give a shout out as well to our sponsors who've been great all the way through the season. Supported us through thick and thin. Big shout out to Spider VPN for all your internet security. Want to protect your passwords and what you've been looking at on the internet, then download Spider VPN, get onto them, and they will do you a fantastic deal. Skipsandbins.com as well. Telephone 0800 25 45 25 3. Email inquiries at skipsandbins.com and website www.skipsandbins.com. Easy contract, free and pay as you go waste collection. Thanks to them for coming on board this month, and to John at qtechshop.co.uk, the makers of pool tables and snooker tables in Wallsend in Newcastle, and to Jab Signature, providers of all fantastic boxing, clothing and sportswear range. And don't forget, the match day bucket is in operation today. NUFC fans, foodbank.co.uk. Simply go to that site and donate some money into the food bank. Every penny is welcome, and anyone putting money in between now and the 5th of August goes into the draw for the NCSL watch. It's a one-off watch, quite an expensive one as well. So just donate your money into that, into the bucket, and you go into the draw. And 5th of August, that will be drawn at our first event that we can definitely confirm, I think. The Christmas party, of course, we're still waiting to get a date sorted for that. This is the NUFC Matters 24-hour charity pool night, which is going to be Friday, the 6th of August. Starts at 12 p.m. 24 hours pool competition at Spotlight. I'm sure that everybody who can will get involved from NUFC Matters, and we're raising funds for the food bank. Good excuse for a drink or two. I'm sure there'll be one or two who will attempt to do the full 24 hours, but we will wait and see. But yes, looking forward to that. Big shout out to John for organising that. And got something else to cover as well. Yes, the T-shirts. Yeah, if you want to get the T-shirts, that's what I was going to cover. The football shirts. Pete, Q-Tech came good, didn't they? So the football shirt, NUFCmatters.com, where you can buy it. I think your team's going to be sponsored by Q-Tech in those tops
next season. Yeah. So spoke to John, absolutely fantastic from Q-Tech, and obviously our season's finished now. So pre-season will start around sort of mid-July. Season will start the end of August, and he said to get in contact. He's going to sponsor us. So massive for us in terms of getting a new sponsor, a new kit. And really appreciate the kind gesture. So when we do have the kits, and tradition first game of the season, we have our team photo. I'll get it to you guys, and so we'll get it out there, and you'll be able to see us all in the black and white stripes.
Fantastic, great stuff, great gesture, that John. Thanks very much for doing that and reaching out. Al-Walid, the takeover then.
Bloody Dwight Gale. You see that header,
Mr.
Dwight Gale's on for maximum. Just Mr. Sitter.
That's why they got to get rid of him.
Yeah, he was rubbish against Sheffield United as well. To be fair,
Steve, I just want to on Dwight Gale. Obviously, Mitrovic isn't in the squad today. And in my opinion, I think he's gone. What do fans think about a potential Mitrovic Gale in the summer? Would you take it?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I personally wouldn't, because Mitrovic was rubbish when he was at Newcastle for me. I would I swap him for Joe Linton now? Possibly, yeah. But I just genuinely couldn't see Mitrovic back in the black and white shirt. I actually slated him more than I slated Joe Linton. If that's possible. I actually rated Joselu over both of them. That's how bad it is. So me personally, no. Other people might have an opinion. I don't know. Al-Walid, come to you. I know you're still watching the football. Would you have Mitrovic back before I ask you about the takeover?
What I see from him this season, it's for me, it's not enough. Not enough. What I see. We hope maybe we have better options for him.
Yep.
And regarding the takeover, now it's the more the depth you go on, the more you understand more. It's a big subject, as we struggled last night to talk about it and ask you about it. But if we take the takeover matter, Saudi Arabia, they give everything to prove from the higher court, and everybody know that, for evidence that it's separate from the government. So what else they can provide? Nothing else. So, and as I understand, there is many big, huge companies. They are PIF buying a stake in their markets, and they are admit that the PIF is separate as well. So all the companies, they should believe the all companies, or just maybe one. Why only the Premier League? They are the one only who knows that it's not separate from PIF, from the government. Why only them? What about the other companies, the telecom and etc. etc. That's everybody know that. Regarding Keith Patterson and the case of the anti-competition and the Ben Jacob, now the evidence is talk. It's time now for the evidence, no matter for the opinions. For example, I catch the first half of the show for Ben Jacob, for example. Half of what he say is make sense 100%, and the other half it's not make sense at all. As an example, when he talk about the content of the email of the being said from BN to the big six, it's depend what is the content. But for me, it's depend why it's only sent to the big six. So it's now the time of the evidence to speak, and I see Keith Patterson. He is only talk about a little bit what from the public domain documents, what he can share with us. And if you can see that, as I understand, there is 75 evidence. Yeah, oh my God, 75 evidence. So how many? And only we need one evidence to prove. So regardless, now the takeover. Forget about the takeover. Think of what is going on with the big six, and the suspicious way of they are powering themselves and separate themselves from the other 14. This is for me the big issue. It should be concerned from all teams of the 14 teams, not just Newcastle, because they take over. And Premier League is represented by 20 team. The whole 20 team, they present them, not just the 6. This will affect the popularity of the Premier League. They affect forget the word. Forget their it will affect them according the whole fans around the world. Reputation. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Yeah. It will affect the reputation very much. So it must be concerned for the whole 14 teams. To sum up, it's the time for evidence. Everybody, a lot of people can speak good, can talk ever and ever, but it's time for the evidence. It's the evidence is now that talk. It's funny. It's ironically funny. That now, as I understand today from Ben Jacob, that Premier League now it's in a hurry to prove the arbitration, to hear from the arbitration before anything come out from the anti-competition case. This is the funny, ironically. So they don't want to delay an arbitration. They are afraid, and of course, when they ask for more delay, this is. Confirm that they are hiding a lot of things.
Sutty, Al-Walid is watching his son play football, who will be a future Newcastle United player. So sorry about the shouting. That's what it is. That's why Al-Walid's projecting his voice like a true professional tonight. But that's why there's shouting. Apologies for that. Martin, the takeover is something which we've talked about many times over the last 12 months. Looks hopefully as if we will finally get some kind of resolution, because I guess the way that Keith's played it, Keith's played a blinder in many ways, and the club have obviously taken on his case now. But because of the way it's been done, there's dates starting to appear now, and not dates that have been, invented by journalists or guessed at by In the Nose on Twitter. Dates have actually, come out through the procedure now. So, from our perspective, we do seem as if we're reaching an end game now.
Yeah, I think it's been up and down all, for the last year. But I think Chris made a good point, and so did Pete. I think at the end of the day, the Saudis get what they want. I think money at the end of the day talks. And I think somewhere along the line, the Premier League, I think, will try and drag this on for as long as they can, till it gets to a point that they've got nowhere to run. So I'm still positive. I think, as Chris said, this could run until December, January, early February, maybe. I don't think it'll be quick. I don't think it'll be for the summer, as much as you'd love it to be and people in. So I think, we probably will start the season with Bruce and Ashley still in control. Ashley's at the Fulham game today, by the way. Mark Ryder confirmed that. Or Lee Ryder, he's at the game. But yeah, I think it'll happen. I think we had a good chat about this on Our League show last night. I think a lot that will come out through the anti-competition. There's no way the Premier League will want some of that to come out. So I think, like a lot of high-profile legal cases, you never ever hear the results. You never ever hear of mass companies going to the High Court or anywhere else because it gets settled elsewhere. So
bloody hell, it's not yellow.
I'll wait till Kieran's finished.
He's just reporting on a potential red card.
That should have been a red card. That.
Yeah, he's not.
We're just going to watch it back. It
did look a red at first replay.
I
don't know.
Oh,
didn't look.
I
thought it's
It's a high challenge. That
it's a yellow card.
Obviously, no VAR check.
Why do I always get these the squads with these names in? I mean, that's a simple name. Is it Tete?
Tete,
yeah. Julie often laughs at us in the chat. She says, it's been a tough one for pronunciations today, and it is always me who gets them. Go on, Martin. Back with you now. It wasn't a red card.
Yeah, so you never see big, massive cases going through the High Court. You never see them on the steps. Very rarely do you see it in the papers. So I think at some point, some of the stuff that's floating around, there's a lot of stuff floating around on Twitter this weekend. The letter from BN Sports is floating around out there. So, we know that all these things have happened. We know that BN approached the top 6, that they didn't go out to the other 14. We know that Masters took influence and wrote back to Khashoggi's widow saying that he would take her points and he would look at it fairly and everything else. So at the end of the day, from a point of what's happened competition-wise, we have been restricted, as have the other 13 clubs, not just Newcastle United. The other 13 clubs have also all been stopped from competing fairly against the 6 who went off and created this league with Barca and Madrid and the rest of them. So I think the Premier League will do something. I think the takeover will go through, and we will see change. And Mike Ashley gone, as Chris said. If that takes another 6 to 12 months, I'm happy to wait if I know it's coming. If in 6 months' time we're still dragging through courts and the Premier League really want to take it on, then maybe I'd be slightly more concerned. The key thing for me at the moment, the first thing I want to see is I want to see the punishment for the top 6, because they broke 2 of the Premier League's rules in their own rule book. So I want to see what the punishment is for the top 6, and then let's get the rest of the takeover and the rest of the crap that's flying out there sorted. But I'm very keen to see what Mr. Masters and Hoffman do with the top 6, because I think if nothing happens, then it just goes to show what we've always said the last 12 months, that the Premier League is what we believe it to be. But yeah, still very confident, to the point that I haven't texted you since we first met.
Brilliant. Don't know what's your views on the takeover, mate. We haven't really asked you this question, so it'll be a new answer.
After watching the Amigo show on Friday and what Keith came out with in terms of the evidence, I would say that evidence is pretty damning towards the Premier League and the Big 6. And I would have thought that if the Premier League are wise, they'll try and get this resolved as quickly as possible, because any long drawn out court action can only be bad for brand Premier League. It will not be good. So yes, it'll happen. There's going to be twists and turns, but as I say, I'm still positive, 100% positive this is going to happen. And the new dawn will be here, as they say.
Good stuff. Don't tell me misses that. She's called. Is the new Dawn younger? Yeah.
I'll have to check the photograph.
I'll send you one later, mate. It'll be better dressed than Mitch was on Friday. Kieran, the takeover, mate.
Yeah.
You're often a pessimist on the match. What's your view on the takeover? Is this all just going to collapse like a pack of cards?
I'm still not sure about it, but I thought earlier on in your interview with Ben Jacobs, I thought he made it was interesting. Like he made a comment about the Premier League and not the Big Six, and I thought he was right. I don't think it's the Premier League. I think it is the Big Six that have obviously somehow tried to have their voice of opinion. But it does beg the question: who the heck actually owns the Premier League, doesn't it? Because it's not Richard Masters. He's the chief executive, so he can't. He's not the one that's like trying to make it not go ahead. It's obviously it is the people at the Big Six, but I still can't work out who actually owns the Premier League, because they can't physically go up to him and tell him to stop the takeover from going through, can they? I don't know what your opinion is, but I don't really.
Yeah.
It's really, really. We are. I think we're at the end game now. It's the Premier League have just delayed. Hope the Saudis go away. The Saudis haven't gone away. Didn't expect one. Well, maybe they expected Ashley to react with one legal case, but certainly didn't see the second one coming. And they're not going to want. They're not going to want disclosure. They're not going to want. They're not going to want that dirty. They're not going to want the dirty laundry washed in public. Or aired in public. That's going to be the big issue here. So that's where we're at.
Is there meant to be a date coming up? Was 11th of June or something, where something meant to be coming out?
And I asked Ben on behalf of somebody today, how long does it usually take? The arbitration situation, and he said, well, it can take up to 7 days, but then it's the decision, that can drag on as well. So, from our point of view, I think June, July, all eyes are going to be on the takeover then. If it gets to July and the takeover goes through, that's still more than enough time for Newcastle to do business.
You take that, definitely. You take what you don't want is it's dragging on for all summer, because I just really fear the worst then. And it would suggest that the Premier League are really up for this going to court.
Yeah, and what we really need as well, essentially, is the takeover going through that we want to go through, and Newcastle then having an abundance of money to go out and spend. That's ideally what we want. David Reed's not happy anyway. Hendrick's come on over Carroll. He's treated Carroll like a mug. I plead again. He has to walk away tonight. Look, David, I understand he's a player that you like, but I think you're giving me sentimental run out against Sheffield United. And if you asked Andy Carroll which game would he rather have a run out at tonight or at home against Sheffield United, I think that's the one he would have chosen. But I understand where you're coming from, but I don't think Andy Carroll, as everybody knows, should have been anywhere near Newcastle United's team this season. He's not good enough. He's injury prone. Andy Carroll 4 or 5 years ago, yes, maybe, but not now. But that's my opinion. Down to the last 8 minutes, and then whatever the referee's got on his watch for stoppages, the European race, can I keep up with it? I think Chelsea's back in the driving seat again because Leicester and Tottenham are level. Liverpool are winning, and Chelsea are still losing at Aston Villa, I believe. But yeah, I think Chelsea are back in the driving seat. So Leicester need to find a goal from somewhere to get back in that position. Fewest clean sheets has just come up. Sheffield United 4, Newcastle 6, West Brom 6, and Crystal Palace 8. Again, all the more amazing Newcastle have managed to stay up this season, stayed up by the skin of their teeth. Al-Walid Sutty is asking, what's the score? Al-Walid, is there a game? Is your boy playing?
Actually, he's playing and he just injured someone.
Just injured somebody.
No, he's still new in this and he doesn't know how to play. And because we spent the last year and to study at home, he didn't have a chance to play with kids. So he's still starting to learn the football laws.
Fair enough. That's fair enough. Jason, we mentioned it earlier. You must have dipped off. I know you said your stream wasn't great. Loaded Football are going to do some streams for the matches, so give them a subscription and you'll be able to do that. I'm going to have a bit of time off from Matchday Lives, but as it stands over the summer, having spoken to most people, we will have 7 shows a week going through the summer. So you won't be short of content, but the content will be slightly different, although Liam Kennedy will still be doing his show each week. We'll be talking transfers, of course. People will have a lot of questions over the next few weeks about ins and outs. And we will still be doing Gibbo and Malcolm on a Thursday. The Retro Show will continue on a Wednesday. And the Three Amigos will continue as well. I'm going to have a chat with the girls and see what they want to do. But when there's no football, it is a bit difficult. So what I might do is, like I've said, go back to doing those a few of those all-time 11s, which of course will take up a few Monday nights. And it means it just gives people a little bit of time off. No one's getting paid to do this. It's all voluntary work for people, although there's going to be one almighty drink, I think, when we all get together. So, which NUFC Matters will be paying for, believe it or not. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Holly, 5 minutes to go. Fulham pressing again. Do you think we can hold on?
Yeah, I think we should do. I think it's a disgrace that we're only 1-0 up, to be honest. Like, Fulham's been nothing amazing. They've been pretty poor, proved why they're the relegated side. And yet Newcastle's only 1-0 up, which, like I've just said, is completely not on, really. I think we should have scored a lot more goals. I think it's just a case of sitting back now. We do look a bit tired. We should have probably brought the subs on earlier, and bringing on Jeff Hendrick, I mean, that's just not really a sub I wanted to see. I'm sure most people feel the same. But if we win 1-0, then it's all right, I suppose. We'll finish in a decent position in the table. It's just the same problem that always annoys me about Newcastle. Is just we have a chance and we never really go that extra mile to try and do more. We're just happy, we're 1-0 up, so that's fine. We never want to do more. It's just constant stagnation, like I've complained about all season. But had a chance to do something else, haven't done it. I think we'll hold on.
Okay, Daz, you're looking a bit pensive.
Yeah, no, I think the conversation is more kind of interesting in the match in the last while. So, yeah, Fulham have had a few chances. They'd won, gone back about 25 minutes ago, and it was a clear chance. It just shows that they can't score a goal. But no, we should see it out. There's not that. There's only about 5 minutes left or so. Yeah, and yeah, I'll leave my sign off until we're going around the house at the end.
All right, mate, no problem. That's fine. Nath, looks as if we might just get there with a 1-0 win.
Yeah, I think so. I think the sting's been taken out of this game a little bit now. Obviously, we're aware there's nothing to play for. I think Hendrick coming on, that's a big surprise. Like, why not put Mike Longstaff on? If you're not going to play him all season, just give him 5-10 minutes at the end. But yeah, Hendrick's come on. He's had a few touches. He's been dreadful. I saw him when he got the ball down the right hand side. He scuffed across into the defender, got dispossessed in the halfway into our half, just awful. And I think it's not.
We've got a penalty. Yeah.
Oh, wait, I'm a bit behind.
Yeah.
We've got a penalty.
Richie's got give it a penalty.
Yeah, Richie taken down penalty.
Yeah.
Now is Richie going to take it? Or they're going to
bring Joe Linton on?
Yeah, I mean, this was Steve Bruce last week. Yeah, well, it's a thing in Brazil after you've scored.
Not a penalty.
Bringing him down.
That's not a penalty. That is it.
It's a dive. Is it?
It's a dive for me.
He doesn't. Teddy doesn't really connect with him. It's
Gareth Bale has scored for Tottenham.
Leicester have bottled it again, haven't they? Like last season.
Now Shocks did tell you Spurs to beat Leicester. You wouldn't listen.
Fabian Shaw.
You're trust the scores, Martin.
Fabian Shaw's taking the penalty.
I've only one out so far.
Oh, I don't know about that.
It's been given anyway.
Shaw steps up.
Oh my god!
Throws it into the bottom of the net.
Oh, nice penalty.
2-0.
Yes.
Cheeky penalty. 2-0 Char.
Well, yeah, I definitely think we'll hang on now then.
Yeah. 1-0's looking okay.
Yeah, you're a good luck omen now, Nathan. You'll have to do all the games again.
Yeah.
Who scored the goal? The penalty.
Shaw. He rolled it into the bottom corner.
Shaw.
It's a bit like you, I'll believe it's exactly how I would imagine you would take a penalty. Smooth, slow, precise, rolled it into the bottom corner. Tapped it.
Give him the
I have
eyes.
to say,
Didn't he?
of all the penalties we've had this season, that was probably one of the weakest I've seen because I didn't think there was much connection there at all. And yet VAR check and given.
Of all the ones we've not been given as well.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's like one of the weakest ever.
Yeah. Maybe that's the Premier League. They've told them they're turning, aren't they?
Well, Fulham have had some really dodgy, like sort of VAR decisions like before they got relegated. Like, I don't know if they're trying to get us relegated.
Only one man can do that, Kieran.
Yeah.
Josh Madger.
Exactly. He hasn't relegated us yet.
He hasn't relegated us yet.
Where are we finishing? We're in 12th at the moment.
They still think they can get out of it, don't they?
Unbelievable. That Steve Bruce has got us a 12th place finish at this moment in time. Unbelievable, that Pete. Really.
Yeah. Gone ahead of Wolves on goal difference.
Well, you know what, Steve? Just brace yourself for the media coming out because obviously 45 points now, more than Rafa. Lots of comparisons will come out from a lot of media over the next week or two.
Yeah.
Luke Edwards, maybe.
He'll start the ball rolling. There'll be a few others as well, and a few pundits that'll be pro Bruce. But you know what? For me, if he was to leave at the end of this season, having done what he's done at the back end of the season, fair enough. I just don't want the guy starting our season next year. I just don't. This is the perfect chance for him to walk away with a little bit of positivity about himself. If he stays any longer, he's going to end up going under a real dark black cloud, and he just needs to do the decent thing and just walk away, move on. But we'll see.
Yep. Okay. We've got into the final minute now. Newcastle pressing for a third, but Fulham managed to clear the lines and get the ball away. But we're 91 minutes into the game. I'm not sure how much stoppage time we've got. The BT clock hasn't put it up. Anybody have any idea? We can only have 3 minutes, I would imagine.
This has been happening a lot over the past couple of weeks. It goes on late.
There we go. 1 minute. It's 1 minute to go. Fulham pressing for an equaliser. That's it. Full time.
Season over.
Yes.
Season over. Newcastle United 2. Fulham 0. Newcastle 12th place finish in the Premier League. A bit more money in the bank for Mike Ashley and Newcastle United. He'll be happy about that. Will he make an announcement? Of course, that's what everybody's fearing. Is he going to give Steve Bruce another 3 years?
Sign him up, Ashley. 8 years. 8 years.
Suddy, thanks for your comments today. He says, a great show as always. Thanks to all involved in the NUFC Matters shows for these past 12 months. It's been great listening to opinions of the takeover and sharing the journey of the highs and lows. And Suddy says, NUFC Matters brought the fan base together and gave the fan base a voice. Very kind of you, and makes it all worthwhile when we do that. Don't worry though, we're not going anywhere. We are going to stay. The channel's going to carry on in the same vein, and looking forward to a little bit of a break, as I say, from the match day lives, but we will be back in force for the new season. Holly, then your thoughts on that final game of the season?
Pretty good game. I know I had a little bit of a rant. Just thought we could have tried a bit more, which is the case throughout the whole season, really, isn't it? But Shaw's penalty, I love that. I'm a massive fan of Fabian Shaw, and I seem to remember that he took a very similar penalty against Leicester in the cup as well. I think he did the exact same thing. So it's quite amusing, really, when he just rolls it in like that. But good game. If we end up finishing 12th, is it guaranteed that we finish 12th now or not?
The Wolves game is still on.
Yeah, Wolves game's on, but we're ahead by just on goal difference, 45 points each.
That's brilliant then. I mean, 12th place, like who thought we would have finished in 12th like a couple of months ago even? It's absolutely mad. Improved on the 13th last season. I was thinking 17th was going to be like the absolute best, but 12th is really, really good. I don't think it reflects the season. Like Pete said, can't wait to hear all the journalists and pundits piping up, which I'm sure they will, annoying everyone. They're all going to be getting muted from me. But great season overall, the way we ended it, and just happy that we've stayed up. Hopefully things get sorted out in the summer, but fair play to everyone. Hats off to the players and Bruce in part. Decent game.
Yeah, good stuff. Man of the match from you, Holly?
Man of the match, I'll either go for Joe Willock purely for his goal and the fact that he's been excellent throughout the season, or Paul Dummett because I think he's been defensively solid as well. But off the pitch, I'm going to give it to Brandon in the comments earlier because he had me cry laughing at one point. I had to turn my camera off. So brilliant comedy and entertainment from Brandon. Thanks, Brandon.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Always good to have a Macam on to have a bit chat with. I thought Steve Bruce was going to stay on and do the lap of honour with Fulham to see whether he got more of an applause. But he's decided to finally go down the tunnel. Don't know what he was hanging around for. Daz.
Yeah, if we finish in 12th, that is a joke, not a true reflection of our season at all. But Bruce will lap it up. Yeah, just a general point, really. I just want to say thanks to Steve and thanks to the lads and lasses as well for a great season. For me, if there wasn't COVID and all the games weren't on TV, I would be just get to see one or two games, more than one or two games, but mainly watching match of the day and keeping an eye on my phone, the scores and stuff like that. But it's great to be involved and to meet fellow Newcastle fans. There's not that many around Ireland. I found one now, the lad underneath me there. But it's been great to experience the games with everyone and share opinions and so on and so forth. And on man the match on the pitch, I'll give it to Joe Willock. I thought Dummett as well had a great game. So it's great to say he made a big difference in the last couple of games. But I'm really going to give my man the match to someone off the pitch. I'm going to give it to Spenny Mag. So get well soon, Spenny Mag. We want to see you back on the shows, and you're great crack, and lovely to meet you as well. And we'll see you on the show soon.
Great stuff, nice words, great sentiment, mate, and I'm sure we all agree with that. Nath.
Yeah, I think it was it wasn't the most exciting game, was it? I think the chat we've had in here has been far better than the entertainment that the game provided. But I think that was to be expected with the nothing at stake for this game. I thought we looked okay. We were good in possession at times. We never really looked troubled at the back. And I think it was always going to be a difficult game with not having a recognised centre forward on the pitch, nobody to aim for. The difference that Callum Wilson makes by being leading the line, it's there for everyone to see when he's not playing. So I think all in all, like Daz has said, that 12th place finish is very deceptive, and I think all the sort of pundits and stuff will be lauding that rather than paying attention to the run that we went on sort of halfway through the season. I think it just shows what a missed opportunity this season's been. I know we've had injuries, but if we go through that run of 20 games, if we pick up another 4 wins in those games where we didn't get any wins, I think we'd be in the top half and we'd be knocking on the 6th, 7th, 8th place. So it's a missed opportunity, isn't it, at the end of the day this season? But given where we were at that Brighton defeat, I'm more than happy to be finishing up where we were. I think for me, man of the match, I thought Paul Dummett was great, as everyone said. I think Shelby was good. I think Shelby had a good game. But I'll probably give it to Paul Dummett. I thought he was pretty good today. And as Daz said, Steve, thanks for having us all on. It's been great to be on. This season's been probably one of the most difficult seasons that I've had to sort of sit with everything going on in the world around us as well. I think this has been one of the most difficult seasons that I remember in my years as a Newcastle fan. Honestly, even though we've not ended up getting relegated, it's been really difficult to watch at times, isn't it? But I think being on here with everyone has been like a big therapy group, and everyone in the chat as well. Like massive shout out to all the viewers. I can't believe that we started off as a bit of fun, wasn't it, when we started off doing them last season, and to get like hundreds and hundreds of people on watching along with us, talking rubbish and watching these lot try and play football. It's been great. Like even back at, I remember watching Newport County, and we had like hundreds and hundreds on watching those awful, dismal games earlier on in the season. But so thank you to you, Steve, all the panel. It's been great to meet everyone this season, and all the viewers and stuff as well.
Yeah, and let's hope we can all meet up face to face over the course of the next 12 months. But you're right. I mean, it's amazing. It blows me away, the figures. I think we had I don't think it was the Sheffield United game, the game before that. I think we had viewing figures of a Man City game. 7,000 people watched. 7,000 people watched the stream. Amazing that. And there's other streams doing exactly the same thing. So, from our perspective, you just take your hat off to everybody in the chat who gets on and shares it and takes part as well. So thanks for that. Pete, what a week you're going to have. Newcastle stayed up, finished 12th. Leicester's missed out on that elusive Champion League place again, and got got beat today. What's your thoughts?
Leicester City back-to-back bottlers. That's what I'm going to be saying. Monday morning going into work, back-to-back bottlers. But no, it's look, the game was what we expected. I don't think it was never ever going to be a pretty game today. But you know what? We've had many games like that over this season where we haven't got the result, and we did today. So fair play. This season, it's been tough. As Nathan said, it's been tough, but having you guys, Steve, allowing us to come on the show and having you guys to chat about Newcastle and to take your mind off some of the dross that we've had to put ourselves through it's been a godsend, really. So thank you to you, Steve, and everyone else on the panel, because I really, really appreciate it. And you know, it makes watching the games easier, you know, with you guys around. But look, 12th place. I don't think anyone would have thought, you know, at this point that we would have ended up where we were. I know when we did the final countdown show, Steve, I think I had us on 42 points, and it was me and Alicia on 42 points. And I remember you saying, Steve, I think they're a little bit optimistic there. It's got well above it, beyond anything that any of us would have thought. And fair play to the lads for rallying round and putting in, you know, that running towards the end of the season is top half form. You know, if we somehow can keep our players, and I believe we will, our better players, get the likes of Willock in. There's a few decent free transfers out there that could do a job in midfield and in defence if we were to put all our money into Willock. And, you know, who knows, next season we can have a better push. But, yeah, you know, for me, the most enjoyable thing about this season is spending it with you guys. So thank you.
In my defence, it was probably spending all those match days with Kieran in the later end of the season where I became very pessimistic. Your fault, Kieran. Chris, over to you, mate.
Yeah, firstly, Steve, just a massive thank you to you. As you know, I've absolutely loved being on the show. I love doing the Matchday Lives. I love doing all the little other shows during the week as well. Being on with yourselves and other like-minded Newcastle fans is just great. I don't always get to go up to Newcastle as often as I'd like to, being based in Liverpool, similar to Daz, who's in Ireland. So to have the opportunity, you know, to be able to share these matches, the highs, the lows, with you know, fellow fans is just fantastic. And for me, watching the matches, never going to be the same again. I mean, I can't wait to get back in the stadium. I can't wait to meet you all face to face. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. But yeah, just want to say a massive thank you to you, Steve. In terms of us finishing 12th, yeah, I'm absolutely gobsmacked. It's a really, really solid, strong finish to the season. Part of me is a little bit disappointed because I do know that, as Pete said, all the media are going to be all over it and saying, look, what were Newcastle fans moaning about? Steve Bruce had it under control. But you know what? Well done to Steve Bruce, because he managed to get a tune out of the players. And most importantly, we've stayed up, and that's what we all wanted. I'm sure it's what he wanted. And we go into next season, hopefully with a stronger squad and more optimism, I hope. In terms of a man of the match, it was quite difficult actually, because the game just kind of like went away from us, didn't it? Like, we were watching it and we were all like really involved in it in the first half an hour, 40 minutes, and then it just kind of got distracted with other things. We were all having a really good gab. So I'm gonna say Joe Willock, and a bit like Holly, I'm partly using previous performances as well, because I feel he deserves it. That first goal was absolutely fantastic. You know, the endeavour he showed, the fight, the strength, the pace. It was a fantastic goal, and you know, he really set us on our way to getting 3 points today. So I'm going to give it to Joe Willock.
Okay, good stuff. Al-Walid?
Yes, I just want to share with you that I think my son today, he learned that it's okay to tackle someone. He must enjoy it, and he. Yeah, this is my comment on the game I was watching. I didn't know about the score, but I see I'm behind their goals, and I receive many balls, so I believe we lose. For the game, I didn't. I will cheat from my mate Chris. I think I believe Joe Willock is the best player. For the I was wishing deeply in my heart that this game against Fulham or Sheffield, this one, I wish that it's not gonna be fatal in our destiny, and hopefully that's happened. Just to make our position in standing table better. And 12, I am actually a bit shocked. We are 12 now, and that's mean if just a few weeks ago we was afraid from relegation. So that's mean that Newcastle are able, even with short source they have good players, able to they have the Geordie soul in them. They can push the team, and if they do this from beginning of the season, and hopefully now the working for next season should be regardless what's going on outside, it should be starting from tomorrow. The players, the loans, the deals should be starting from tomorrow. So we start the next season with the same level. We're ending the same season. I think 2 wins, and yeah, it's great result. No matter how they play. So that's what I'm glad for. At the end, really, thank you, Steve Rate, and thanks for the mates, lads and laces, for joy and for participating in this studio. It's mean too much to me, and I learned now my English is good. It's just now my emotion. Maybe sometimes when I get emotional, I am very bad in English. So I'm happy that we succeed this season, and hopefully we'll succeed in the summer with the good news, and hopefully it's my last word is it's coming home, Newcastle.
Yay! Fantastic, mate. Good stuff. And never mind your English. Your Geordie's coming on just fine, mate. You're doing very well with your Geordie, so keep it going. And a lot of people saying thanks for introducing the audience to Al Waleed. Funko Freddy in particular just says, cheers for the introduction to Al Waleed. We've been able to hook up to his network on his side of the pitch, which has just opened our eyes for what goes on in his neck of the woods. It's been great learning from Al Waleed. So it's much appreciated, mate. Martin, over to you, mate.
Yeah, I'm not going to thank anyone because, to be fair, it's all about me. On a serious note, like Al Waleed, like 12 months ago, if somebody had told me I'd have a mate from Riyadh, I would have, called you a liar. I've met some absolutely cracking people on here, even as the panel's changed up. But I suppose a big shout out for me to the old guard, so the likes of Chris, Nate, and Pete, Al Waleed, people that we've been with through the thick and thin. I've really enjoyed it. Looking forward to more shows next season and through the summer. Obviously, Loaded Football and Loaded Mag, we're going to keep you going. We're going to do some stuff. We've been lucky to be able to branch out, but none of that would have been a reality had we not got a shot on this and Steve giving us an opportunity. So, again, for that, I've always said we're forever grateful, and we'll never be forgotten, and we'll always keep the link there. Match-wise, I'm going to give it to Joe Willock because 7 goals in 7 games, equaling Shearer's record, I think needs a bit of recognition. I think Callum Wilson as well has been great this season for us. Hopefully he can stay injury-free next year, but we need somebody to go with him. But yeah, Joe Willock for me has been special. Probably one of the only loan signings I would hang my hat on and go, I really, really want to keep him. But I think it'll be a struggle, but hopefully, fingers crossed, we can do something on him. But it does make you wonder where we've obviously finished 12th on 45 points. It makes you wonder where we would have been without Wilson coming back and without Willock's goals over the last few games, because that season could have been a hell of a lot worse without Joe Willock. So I think certainly Newcastle fans and Newcastle United as a club, if he doesn't stay with us, I think we owe him a debt of gratitude. And if he doesn't, I hope the kid goes on to great success. But yeah, it's been fantastic. So I really enjoyed it. And big thanks to everybody on the panel and all those that watch and those that watch us on the other channels. Just keep plugging away, keep watching us. But, love yous all.
Great stuff. Julie Baker, if you're still on, get yourself onto my Twitter account. I've just discovered Troll of the Week. Yeah, even when I'm doing nothing, I get trolled. Yeah, nice little one there. But I've actually put the cat video on for this person just to highlight them.
That's my son down there.
Yeah.
Good.
It is all your fault. So
it is all my fault. Yeah, exactly. Donald, your review of the game, mate. Man of the match.
Review typical end of season game. I mean, great result. I mean, we've ended 12th. Who would have thought that after the Brighton game? I think we were all thinking, oh, yeah, relegation trapdoor, championship, here we come. But, you know, fair play to the players and Mr. Bruce for, you know, turning it round and, you know, taking us to the dizzy heights of 12. It's, to quote Bullseye, if we, you know, if some of the performances had been better, it's a case of look at what you could have won. So, you know, we could have been higher than the old 12th, you know. But yeah, you know, pleased with the result, happy because obviously, you know, I've always been black and white through and through. And I'd just like to end it with thank you for giving me the opportunity. I mean, I was like, you know, the stranger cowboy riding into town when I came on these shows. And I've really enjoyed it immensely. I mean, first stream, I'll admit, I was a bit nervous. I was thinking, oh, heck, and all that. I was almost like Ruth Maddox out of Heidi High. But, you know, it's been really good. And I've also enjoyed being on, obviously, this is for Darren and Martin, really enjoyed going on Loaded HQ. Great crack. And this show and Loaded HQ has made me enjoy football again. I enjoy it. It's added the fun factor. We're all on here. We're all diehard Newcastle fans, football fans, but we have fun. And when the halftime punditry comes down, I lower the volume. I don't want to listen to their, you know, sourness and dourness. I mean, if Roy Keane and Roy and Graham Souness made an ice cream, I think it would be sourdough, not cookie dough. But but yeah, but thanks for you. And obviously through Twitter, I've gained some of you follow me, and I don't class you as followers. I've gained new friends. Followers for me on Twitter equals friends. Simple as, you know. And I know follow. I mean, follow is something that's like, you know, but like perverts do, but you know what you call but you know, you guys are all friends, top bloke, and I look forward.
I think you were searching for a different word there, Donald.
Yeah. Weirdos.
Well, maybe don't dig a hole. We'll leave it there. Al-Walid, I think you've got a special guest to come on.
Oh, is that his son?
Oh.
We can't see Al-Walid, we can't see.
Down a bit. There he is.
There he is.
There he is. Hello there.
Hi, amazing.
Hiya.
You Al-Walid.
How are you? How was your game?
How's your game today?
A quarter.
English.
A ball.
Good. Did he win?
فزت ولا خسرت؟ win ولا lose؟ win.
Very good.
Well done.
There you are. You've just seen the future of Newcastle United there, everybody.
Absolutely.
Tell you what, that was as good as a Shelby interview.
It was.
That's the next David Batty. Those tackles.
It was the next David Batty, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, Kieran. Last but by no means least, lots of people making comments about lights and coming out of the light and darkness. And Kieran, is that a light behind you or the escape hatch? What did you make of today's game, Kieran?
No, I mean, well, firstly, I'd just like to thank you, Steve, for letting me come on your shows. I really appreciate it. I've enjoyed every minute. Meeting everyone on the panel, it's been great. I mean, obviously, served up a lot of Joss football, but it's been great sharing opinions with everyone else. It just takes your mind off the games and all that. But yeah, on the match, I thought it was just a pretty straightforward performance. For me, man of the match was Willock. Again, he scored seven goals in the last in the last 14 games is mental.
Yeah.
I mean, he's almost caught up with Wijnaldum's record as well, and I just think it'd just be foolish not to sort of try and get him in. I mean, even on loan, I'd have him back. But yeah, I mean, we just have to wait and see. And obviously, we're all hoping for big things in the summer, regards to the takeover, and hopefully they can. We can obviously hopefully win the arbitration and look forward to better things in the future. Shout out to everyone in the comments as well. They've been pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Being humour, I think that's the one thing people realise now. I think in the early days they didn't really realise why some people would just go into a spontaneous combustion of laughter, and it's because we do read the comments, we read them all. And from our perspective, it does make a big difference when you're getting people who are commenting on these kind of things, you know. So I'm just letting my daughter in, but yeah, look, from my perspective, it's been fantastic way to spend, you know, these lockdown games. It's been an absolute pleasure to spend time with everybody who's contributed, and I'm not going to name everybody because I'll guarantee I'll forget somebody. But like Daz said earlier, you know, it's been an absolute pleasure to work with people like Spenny who we've missed really over the last couple of weeks as well. He's had health issues and you know, got COVID and now this latest thing. It's been an absolute nightmare for him. But you know, he's back home now, so you know, again, just sending our best wishes to him. And I will give a special thank you to the Irish Anton deck who went on to do Loaded, because, you know, without them, you know, I couldn't have gone off and done a couple of things throughout the year, which you know, they took over. They took the reins over, and Daz did it again midweek for me to go to the match. You know, thanks for doing that, lads, because ultimately, you kept it going for me as well, which is, you know, greatly appreciated. And looking forward to meeting you face to face and having a pint with you. And well done to the guys, everybody who took a turn to present. And again, it's something which, you know, it's more than happy for everybody to do. I mean, you know, Holly did a couple. I think Chris has done one. Al-Walid did one. Martin, Daz, of course, Nath, Pete, all took a turn. So Dunnell, Kieran, could be your turn next season. First game of next season. You might have to do one, lads.
Steve, I'll make sure I watch me P's and Q's then.
yeah, exactly. Okay. Well, I think what we'll do is we'll get a date for next week, and we'll do a season review. If you're up for it, everybody, we'll do a season review next week, and I'll be in touch with everybody about different shows throughout the summer. But for now, I'll bid you good night. Go off and enjoy your tea or your pint or whatever. And well done to Newcastle, finishing 12th. Yeah. And a big shout out to everybody in the chat again. Take care.
Yeah. Thanks, Steve. Bye.
Good luck, everybody.
Critics attack. It feels like I've been talking to myself again. But it's the only way you're ever gonna